If I was in a touring car there, I could have just went fucking flat out, but I'm in this shit. My flat through Abdi in the first corner, watch, straight up the inside.
I rate that, you know, Kings.
What?
I rate that.
I hope you can't wait till tonight, Matt, because this is just gonna be.
Do it like Sonny, yeah? Oh, Sonny? Sonny.
Ah, it's such an Apex special.
I'll do it for Graham. All for Graham.
Right. Okay. Oh, no. That's wrong invite.
What?
Right, I shall catch you boys later. Take care. Have a good one.
See you later.
Yeah, in a bit.
Right, I'm just going to pop to the toilet.
Whoa! What? Him shouting.
What do you mean, him?
I'm going to start screaming soon, so I suggest you two shut the fuck up.
Oh, yeah?
Shower first. You've been in the shower? Just James in the shower?
No, he went to yesterday.
You went in yesterday, right, okay. So you wasn't really in the shower, you stood there pissed around with him, weren't you? You only started taking your clothes off, you saw me, hadn't you?
Who?
No, you wasn't, you was pissed around, you banging and shouting. That's why I come up saying don't shout anymore. So you was pissed around, weren't you? Don't lie to me. Right, move, I need a wait. Hurry up about it, James. Come down and ask her. Hurry up, because I'm sick of this. Look. She's not even in here. Please? I don't fucking know. Don't really care. Get a bit.
Wow!
Your mum's in the kitchen, James. I can hear you both messing around for it, so don't give me that look. Where's James and John's?
In his bed.
In your bed, James. Move your covers.
But you just got it, I've not moved them.
They're not on the quilts, not on the pillow either.
Look at the one in bed.
Right, how many we got in? 12. We're missing James Grill, Leon Fernie, and James Grill, Leon Fernie, Aiden. Can you hear me, by the way? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, turn 4.
Right. Send out last invites very quickly. 2. Right, so let me go through.
And sway. 5, 6, 7. Hurry. Downs. 9. Carousel. 10. Kink. Kettle Bottoms. Canada Corner. Thunder
Right.
Valley. Bill Mitchell Bend. 1014. Road America Straight.
Right. If I read the names out, tell me if they're in. Bryn.
Yep.
Dean.
Yep.
DJ Phil.
Yep.
Holty.
Yep.
Little Leach.
Yep.
Shenron.
Yep.
Oak Bar.
Yep.
Welshie.
Yep.
Smithy's away, but I'll send him an invite. James Grill, but I'll send him an invite just in case. Lucas Roth in.
Yeah.
Leon Fernie, I'll send him an invite. Stove Sloth, is he in?
No. No.
Bozzy.
Yeah.
Right. So Stove Sloth, wait a minute. Is Krath in? I don't think he is he? I've not seen a Porsche.
No. It's probably racing again on that other one.
They've not got a race tonight. They're next week. I tagged him in a thing on Discord earlier today as well. Otherwise, if that craft don't turn up tonight and I don't hear anything from him by next week, that guy in the general chat can join.
That is.
I'm not fucking about waiting for people. Aidan Bennett already admitted that he'll miss a few because of work. So that's fine. He's let me know that he misses tonight because he's not back in Dundee till tomorrow, which is fine. Yeah. James Grill let us know he was away. Leon Fernie told me he was away last night. And Smithy told me he's at Butlins. So that's fine. Masters pissed me off.
Why?
You know, as he pulled out of F1 because he couldn't race on a Sunday night.
He's entered another league.
He's then entered an ACC league because he couldn't race a Sunday night because he wasn't allowed to race too many nights because he was running too many leagues and he needed to spend some time with his missus. Now racing on a Sunday night in ACC. I was like, you're just full of shit, you are. Just say you want to race an ACC league.
Yeah, no comment.
Right. 14 corners, 6.51 kilometres.
Are you going to give us facts about the track here?
I'm going to try and give you as many.
That's fine, because I'm going to say them for tomorrow.
Yeah, there is. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Simplay Motorsport here for rounds 3 and 4 of the Pro-Am series. I'm Matthew Duffin, your commentator, joined in the box once again by my partner in crime, Dan Davis. Dan, how are you this evening?
I'm doing very well. Yourself, Matthew?
Very good, thank you. Are we looking forward to tonight?
It should be definitely an interesting night for sure. A little bit low on drivers right now, but definitely should be an interesting night's worth of racing ahead.
Indeed, it should. Road America stateside for an early morning race this morning for, this evening, UK time. Early morning out there in the America on the game track. Which should bring a different challenge to these drivers. The early morning temperatures down a bit lower than we used to seeing in the middle of the day or in the evening time. What challenge does that bring for a driver? Obviously yourself, 5 seasons of having an early morning race. What's the challenge of coming here so early?
The main challenge is, well, it shouldn't really affect them too much, but it's more temperature than anything. Obviously, if you're running the softs and the hard tyres, the softs work better in the cooler conditions, but they do obviously burn out much faster, and obviously the harder tyres take more time to warm up, but obviously they will last a lot longer. And effectively, once the hards are actually up to temperature, they tend to be the better tyre anyway. So either way, it's trying to find the right window of what is the best tyre to use. And with the early morning session as well, it's definitely going to be an interesting one to make sure that they're on the right tyre, especially if it's warm enough for the hard tyre.
That is the challenge then for the drivers in this one tonight. Can they produce some epic racing? Like Dan says, a bit low on numbers. We are expecting 1 or 2 more in at least tonight, with a few away, work and holidays for a few at the moment. As we head into this then, round 3 and 4, the current championship standings look like this. A surprising early leader in Bryn 85, leading the way by 10 points from JM Grill and Little Each. Little Each people expected to dominate this season, but he's struggling out there after last week. Stealth Sloth, again, a bit of a surprise to us all. Not yet here. He's hopefully one we get in. Currently down in P4, 22 points off the title lead, but another guy who we expected to be fighting mid-pack, maybe at the back, right up there after last week's round at Sakito. DJ Phil Green sits P5 in the championship standings. The debutant Shenron, again, not many people expected him to do a lot this season, and he's currently sat P6 ahead of Welshie, who was in the battle for promotion. A bit of a poor week last week, obviously missed the second race. He'll hope for better things this week. Dean Musoki, after his first race shenanigans of blowing his engine, he sits down in 8th place, 32 points off the back as well. He will have to serve a qualifying ban for retiring after last week, so he will serve a qualifying ban. Smithy is P9, he's not here tonight. Ukbar will also have to serve a qualifying ban tonight as well, as he retired last week. Holty P11 with Lucas Roth P12. He as well has a qualifying ban. So at the minute, we're only going to get 7 qualifiers in that first qualifying session. That Bozzy Boy, because his was technical errors, not just retirements because of damage or because he wasn't doing very well, because his was a hardware issue, technical issue, he doesn't have to he doesn't get a qualifying ban, but he didn't score any points, bar the points he got for qualifying, which really puts him on the back foot on 4 points at the moment. On 4 points, I don't think that's right. I'll have to double check that one. But Leon Fernie hasn't scored yet. Neither is Krath or Aidan Bennett. The team's championship looks like this. It is Super Crash Bros of Bryn and Shenron who lead the way on 62. Pick and Mixed Motorsport are on 48 of Little Leach and Smithy. That's where you want to see Little Leach, isn't it? Off the track at the moment. MC Motorsport are then third of Welshie and Stealth Sloth, with Terminal Velocity Racing, the Janettas of DJ Phil and Ukbar P4. My Mate Racing of Liam, of that Bozzy Boy and JM Grill P5. Getting quicker, My Mate of Dean Musaki and Leon Fernie P6. Holty and Keegs' Mercedes-Benz are tied on 13 points as well, and All Sports Racing, their Porsche, yet to get underway in this one. And Dan, Stealth Sloth, Shenron, Bryn took us by surprise last week by getting some good results.
Yeah, speaking of Stealth Sloth, according to Stealth Sloth, has he been banned? No invite? ? So I don't know if Welshie's listening to the stream, but it's worth just dropping him an invite, get him into the session. Yeah, definitely a surprise, especially Shenron. He definitely surprised me coming into the league. Very much getting more and more into this as he keeps going on. Yeah, definitely surprises. Liam surprises me with his pace overall. Obviously, his classic wheel killing him towards the end. But the man of the moment at Sakito was this man, Bryn. And he's just gone a very different approach this season. He's just gone to make the car as stable as possible. Not as quick as possible, but as stable as possible. And it paid off massively at Sakito.
It did indeed. Paid off really well for him. Just as a bit of a moment there and catches. I think that's Ukbar it caught. Yeah, it was Ukbar that he caught as he got all over the curbs. The curbs here, Dan, are horrendous.
They are horrendous. One of the worst curbs in the league. Excuse me. Road America curbs in general are just horrible. They're not very good at all. But yeah, it's a circuit that I don't really know much to talk about Road America. It's one of those weird circuits that no one ever seems to like.
Yeah.
But one man, this man, this is actually Ukbar's favourite circuit.
Oh, really?
Yep, pretty sure this is his favourite circuit.
Well, there we go then. I've actually messed up the tables. Michael Conley asking for an invite. You should have an invite. If not, text Welshie to invite you because it's normal lobbies. So you should have an invite from him. You've also had a couple of invites from me, as it is normal invite. But so we will be getting Stealth Sloth in. Yes, I've messed up the tables. What I didn't relay for is the tables are when you input the qualifying results, whoever's on pole gets given a point from that screen, and I inputted it as an extra point. So Liam's only on 2 points, which puts getting quicker. My Mate Racing, all 3 Mercedes teams are all tied on 13. I've also kind of messed up the pro. Andy's on 29 points, overtakes on 43, so the gaps there is a little different as well in the pros, which means I'm only 3 points off the lead in pro. which I'll take that. Brilliant, eh? But we're not about the Pro tonight. We're all about the Pro-Am, and this could be a fantastic night of racing. Evening to Disco McDisco Face, PM Motorsport, Laura Sage, Welshie, Michael Connolly himself, Stove Sloth, Mike Matthews, Nikki in the chat as well. How are things in the chat there? And we get into this Road America, Dan. It's an FIA Grade 2 circuit in Wisconsin. I've got affiliation with Wisconsin. My NFL team play there, the Green Bay Packers, so it's not far from Lambeau Field. And you're lucky that it's not snowing, because normally in the winter times in the NFL it is absolutely Baltic and plenty of snow around, so it's a good job we're not racing this last season, otherwise this could have been a different story here at this track. Uckbart coming around the final corner, 11 minutes 58 seconds after this practice session, and let's go on board a lap with him. Dan, do you want to take us through it?
Yeah, as we go down the Road America straight, obviously, like I said, we'll go on board with the man who loves this circuit this much. Currently on P7 at the minute, but that was an outlap. You come down the long straight and no boards to brake to, so you're going to have to use the dark patch there where people lock up and try and get a good turn in, making sure it's a little bit of a late apex at turn 1 and make sure you stay away from those curves. They're very unsettling. Down in towards turn 2, towards which technically they say is turn 3 here, but we'll call it turn 2. And again, it's all 90-degree corners in this section. You have to be really patient there and take your time and get a good drive out the corner, and then you head your way down towards turn 3, a left-hander, down under braking. This is the trickier part of the circuit, braking again just at the dark patch of the circuit. And you see there, Uckbart's just gone a little bit deep. It's very easy to cut. The corner is much tighter than you actually think it is. Not quite 90, a bit over, by 100 degrees possibly. Then under the bridge, you see it Audi in the middle of the circuit. The crest, braking on the crest can make the car feel light and unstable. It makes your run through that turn 4 much more difficult. Into turn 5, again, too easy, take too much speed through there and mess it up. Down in towards turn 6, braking at the dark shade of the track again. Try and get as close as you can to the curb. Uckbart just not touching the apex whatsoever. And we go into the long sweeper all the way around, called the carousel. You can take it too many ways. You can go in tight and out wide, or you can go in wide and come in tight. Uckbart opting to go a little bit middle and then into the quick kink, making sure the car is nice and stable. Uckbart's Ginetta is taking to it very, very well for sure. And then down towards the back straight, towards Canada corner, and then into the braking zone. And again, another corner you think you could take a lot more speed than you actually can. All these corners are very, very tight. But towards the back end of this circuit, pretty much flat through there as Uckbart takes a little bit of curve, and then into the final corner. And again, wide, come in tight to make sure you get a good drive out the final corner and up towards the hill, down towards Road America straight, towards the start-finish line. And Uckbart setting a lap time around here. If you're good around here, you do it in the 210s. Uckbart does it in the 211s. The pros, though, I believe, are doing it much, much quicker. 208s, 207s is what I've heard. And that is a lap of Road America. And Matt, let's briefly talk about Road America. In your opinion, what do you think of this circuit?
I like the circuit. I see it's one I've driven a lot of on this game, and it's a circuit that I don't necessarily gel with, but I always seem to do decent at. I always seem to pick up the right results, what I've raced in the past. But I think it's nice. I think it's got a bit of everything. It's got some tight, twisty sections. It's got some 90-degree corners that you could really make some overtakes on. But the one thing you've got to note, and this is a thing we've seen in testing a lot this week, is the start line, Dan. The start here. You say at other tracks you want a good start. The start here, a bad start, may not be the worst thing in the world.
Well, it's very narrow here at Road America. Most American circuits are very narrow, especially the start-finish straight. But the way that the system is as well, they start exactly side by side. They're not staggered. They're not one behind the other. They are side by side, right behind one another. And it just takes an automatic driver or a Porsche or a decent starting car to get a good start, and there's going to be chaos.
Indeed, there will be. There was chaos in testing on Monday night with myself, Peaceful, Sutty, and Plav was involved as well. A lot of chaos going off there. As we've got 11 drivers in, then we're hoping to get one more in
but no sign of him at the moment. Although, so a couple of drivers away tonight on work and on holiday. Mike Matthews in the chat. I'm not looking forward to this track. So off the pace, not comfortable with the car this week at all. Evening to Audio Sport, Pro Laps and Peaceful Stepdad as well. Great to see our beloved sponsor in there. And it was nice to see Andy in the Discord and Emplava on Facebook this week receiving their trophies down as well for runner-ups, which, you know, a bit harsh to say because they had a fantastic season, both drivers. But it's nice to see their trophies turn up and you know, see them being proud to get them trophies from our beloved sponsor, Audio Sport.
Yeah, definitely so. Fantastic trophies from them. And, yeah, just like Andy said in his video, he always needs to be the bridesmaid. He's getting a habit of collecting second places. And, yeah, possibly this season he'll finally be the bride instead of the bridesmaid. My money's definitely on him. He's just got to listen to the advice I've given him in the Discord. And, yeah, so basically, Emplava and Andy getting their trophies, and well happy with that. Thank you to Audio Sport for the generosity of giving us the trophies. They look absolutely fabulous. Mine's on the mantelpiece next to my Porsche 911 that I beat Gary in. So, yeah, looking lovely up there.
Yeah, mine's on my shelf, the other side of the living room. 6 minutes, 40 seconds left of this session then. And Dan, the other question with these temperatures being so low and it being cooler than normal tonight is which tyre do you run? Because that long right-hander, the carousel you called it a moment ago, that seems to be a killer on the left-hand side tyres. So is it a soft tyre or is it a hard tyre track? What do we think for around here tonight? Because I know my preference.
From the testing that I've been doing with the guys, I've obviously not really decided what I'm going to be doing for next season yet, or what car I'll be in for next season. But testing a couple of cars, and it seemed like for me the hard tyre was the only sensible option. Oh, Ugbar, just touching that inside curb there. The hard tyre seemed to be the more sensible option. It does take a bit of work to get it up to temperature, but once it is in that temperature window, it's definitely the better tyre.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. The hard tyre just seems to work. The soft seemed to be all right for a lap. And then the minute you seem to come around that carousel section, this bit here, that quick right-hander in this corner here where Ugbar is now, the left tyres just don't seem to have enough grip. They seem too overheated. Whether that's a phase like we saw at Catalunya a couple of seasons ago or not, it will be tough for the soft tyres to work around here. So they're going to have to try and deal with that. If there are any soft tyre runners, we could see someone in the pits changing the tyres if the tyres are too hot and overheating. This man currently a bit off the pace. He's a bit quicker than that in testing this week, but still getting to grips with the game. And Dan, we speak to this guy off air quite a lot, and he seems to be getting more and more into this every day that goes by.
Oh, definitely so. He's your brother-in-law, and when we had a brief admin chat, he was lingering in the background.
Yes.
To hear what was going on. So, now we like the fact that Rob's really starting to get into it, really starting to get into the fun of racing here at Simpo Motorsport, and he's not messing about either. He's on point. He's trying his best. He's giving it all, and he's got a fantastic teammate who is currently your championship leader and is in the pits right now. So he's looking like he's just making a few tweaks, but no, a good pairing nonetheless.
Good pairing nonetheless as well. Know each other very well, and Little Each here seems to be an Audi that just looks like it's struggling for grip as Phil comes to the line, and he didn't improve there. But Ugbar from Halty from Little Each, as we say, he's struggling for grip. There goes the rear of his Audi. That corner there in particular, he's going to catch a few drivers out in this one. Lucas Roth up in P4 Stealth Sloth, yet to set a time as 4 minutes is left in this session. And here comes Lucas Roth. Any improvement on his times? 1.7 off of Ugbar's pace at the moment. Can he get any more out of that? No, he can't. There we go then. Let's not forget Lucas Roth, Ugbar and Dean Wysocki will all have to serve a qualifying ban in Q1 for retiring last week, so they will not be allowed to qualify. So we'll have 8 qualifiers out there, and with 11 starters means that there will be 6 qualify. The top 6 won't be able to qualify for race 2, if I am correct. I believe I am. Top 6, I think I am right, as Keegs goes round there. We are. There we go then. Top 6. 3.5 minutes to go. Please hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Hit the bell to be notified as well. As this week we've got Road America Pro Series coming up tomorrow night, where Dan Davis will be live with Jamie Brazier for all the pro action. And then Dan will be back in the commentary box on Sunday night as we stay in America for the Circuit of the Americas track. I'm sure Gary and Green Pies are looking forward to that start of that race. We then move to Silverstone Classics / Thruxton next Tuesday night, where I'll be in the commentary box with Jamie Brazier for rounds 5 and 6 of the touring cars, before myself and Dan are back a week on Wednesday for Imola in the GT3's Pro-Am, where we hope to have a bit more of a full grid once again. And GT3 Pro-Ams at Imola, that should be a very interesting race, because Imola's a good track, and we've always seen when we've gone to Imola, great racing before. We can't say the racing we've seen from here, as it is brand new on the calendar, so we've got no lap records to go off. We have no information to go off here at Simplay Motorsport on this track. This is brand new, and we're so glad that we can get this one underway and start to go with it.
And yeah, just seen in the comments as well, one person who's not looking forward to this is Overtaker. He's just saying in the chat, even in the only track where the rear of the car is faster than the front. And I know he's in that Lamborghini, and if I'm honest, I tested here with the Lamborghini, and it doesn't actually feel too bad around here. It's all about just getting a nice setup for the car and feeling comfortable in it. But no, it's going to be an interesting race nonetheless. And you just see down that back straight where Dean has gone down now on that Buzzy Boy coming towards it. It's very narrow and it's very tight. There's a wall to the right hand side. The pit window, the pit lane is going to be interesting as well, because there's no pit exit line, so it's literally straight out on track.
It's straight out on track, and the pit lane's probably the widest part of the track.
It is the widest part.
Do you know the thing is, right? These Americans, we've just said about the start line, haven't we? How tight it is. Why didn't the Americans think, do you know what? If we put this pit wall a bit further back,
well, let's just have a look at the pit, shall we?
Do you know what I mean? Look how wide, look how ridiculously wide that is. If that wall was a good couple of feet in, you know, you've got
you could fit neck end of 5 cars down that. That pit lane
without a doubt. So whoever's designed this track and designed the pit lane, congrats to you. Applaud that one. 24 people now watching the stream. Guys, girls, hit that thumbs up button and like and subscribe as well. I know, do you know what I mean? Like, move the wall over a couple of inches. Give the start line a bit more room when the cars are side by side. But either way...
Even to put it into perspective, right? Obviously, everyone's looking at the track map. We've got the track up nice and lovely. The white line obviously represents the circuit. The red line represents the pit lane.
Yeah.
Need I say any more?
No, exactly. Need we say any more? The start is going to be fantastic round here. With the American circuits as always, so if you don't see the cars in the garages as normal, that's because the American tracks. So if you don't get to see the team names and the points at the end, it's normal lobbies for tonight. But the same rules apply. They cannot pit on the same lap as their teammate. Disco McDisco, sorry.
We'll be watching.
Yes, indeed. Audio Sport in the chat. Like someone dumped an oil on each corner, as Mike on about the track being so slippy.
It's not that bad. Just put snow tyres on. You'll be all right.
Yeah. You don't want it to be too slippy tomorrow night. There could be a few incidents with people sliding tonight and tomorrow. Stoves off a little off the pace. Rob still not managed to improve much as DJ Phil moves ahead of Bryn by a 1/10 of a second, and he is the first he's the last to get a lap in. Someone's just crossed the line and has finished. A few in the pit lane. That was Dean Wasocki who went P4. So was Dean on the qualifying fuel there? I wonder. But Dean went up to the P4 with a 2:10.8. So half a second separating the top 4. It's a shame 2 out of them 4 cannot qualify. As here comes Welshie then. I think it's just Welshie and DJ Phil left to finish their laps. Welshie down in P9 at the minute. Comes to the line. Can he improve? Practice. So it doesn't really matter for your time at the moment. He does go a bit quicker but stays P9. And we just have Phil left out there on a lap. Dan, your tip for pole position though?
Wow, my money was going to be on this man, but I don't think that's going to happen. Now, it looks like Holty seems to have some pace around here. Now he's finally got that Mercedes hooked up. He's finally got a little bit of lap time underneath him. I think Holty would look good for pole position tonight.
Holty for pole. I'm going to go Little each just to mix things up. I'm going to go Little each. But
I don't think he's got that Audi hooked up. I think he's struggling with it.
Yeah, I agree. But just to be different, let's go Little each versus Holty then. In terms of appearances, nobody making their 100th or their 50th today, but Ukbar will be on his 50th appearance next week. One man who does make his 100th appearance this week is Andy. Tomorrow night, race 2. Andy will make his 100th appearance in... You what, sorry?
He'll be under pressure then.
He will be under pressure. 100th race in race 2 for that one. Ukbar is next week at race 2 at Imola, as tonight will be his 47th and 48th. In terms of race wins, nobody really. The man with the most race wins in Pro-Am is Holty on 4, tied with now Little Leach on 4 as well. So 4 race wins for Little Leach and Holty apiece. Will one of them two get their 5th win tonight? Could Ukbar, who is on 2 race wins, get his 3rd? Can Dean and Bryn get their 2nd? Liam is on 3. Could he get to 4 with Little Leach and Holty as well? He probably should have been on 6 or 5, after last week's dominant performance at Suzuka. But either way, DJ Phil to the line as the last man on track, and he stays P7 at the end of that. My phone says that is wrong. He stays P6 at the end of that one then, as we get ready to go here for qualifying. Little Leach for my prediction, Holty for Dan's. Get your prediction in the chat of who you think will take pole position as we get ready to qualify. Ukbar, Dean and Keegs cannot qualify.
Yeah, they cannot qualify, so will they listen and stay in the pit lane? And just a reminder to all the drivers, that if you do retire, it's an instant qualifying ban. We're trying to stop people retiring for no reason. Get to the end, get to the finish and score points. If you don't finish the race either, you won't score points as well. If you don't cross the start-finish line, unless it's a hardware issue, either PlayStation itself has decided to catch fire, or Liam's wheels decided to die out, then it's not classed as a finish. So you have to finish the race, you have to score points, and if you decide to quit or retire, then you will have a penalty for the next round, as will Disco tomorrow night.
Yeah, as will Disco serves a qualifying ban in Q1 for retiring in race 2 last week. What a shame for him, as he could have had some good pace around here. But we've got 8 qualifiers out there, and Self-Sloth has already gone a little deep at the hairpin corner then. Mercedes, Audi, Lamborghini or Ginetta? That is going to be the question. And what can this man do? Currently leads the championship by 10 points. And the way you speak to Bryn at the moment, he seems to have his head screwed on very well. It seems to be not about being the quickest, but about being consistent and about picking up the points. Bit of a touring car sort of drive.
That's round 1 of the season. You know, Bryn knows just as well as anyone else knows that you can't win a championship in race 1 or round 1. So he's just taking this season step by step. He knows he's going to have his good circuits and he's going to have his bad circuits. So Bryn, it will be a man to keep an eye out for just consistency this season, and he seems a lot happier in this Audi than he did in the BMW, which was a smart move so far. And I mean, just look at any champion, like you know yourself, Matt, that Colin Turkington, known as one of the greatest touring car drivers, and one of the seasons where he was champion, he won 1 race. Yeah, that's all he won.
Yeah, and you know, and that didn't even come at his favourite track, where the BMW and him are at his best. It didn't even come at Croft. So that's how consistent a season he had in terms of scoring points. And that's what Bryn needs to do this season. At the minute, I'm quite shocked to see the poll on the YouTube channel at the minute. Holty 50% of the vote, Bryn 25, Welshie 25. Nobody's yet voted for Little Leach for pole position. So maybe people thinking the same as what you are, Dan, and go in the way of Holty or Bryn or Welshie at the minute. But like Dan says, it is all about the consistency, and Bryn got off to the perfect start, first and a second last week. Others can pick up, though. 1 bad round doesn't mean it's over. But more important this year, Dan, and we said it last week, we'll say it again this week, no drop score, no double points. So a bad round this season will hurt you more than last.
Yeah, but that's what I love about that. That's just like, if you make the mistake, you're going to get paid for it. As pretty much I did last season. Obviously, my bad round was my double points round. So not just that I was fighting with 1 ambi on my back, but the fact that also I'd lost the advantage of using double points. Now, all that is out the window, and it's basically whoever does the best job throughout the season. No messing around. It's all about being consistent at every single round. You can't have a bad race. If you have 1 bad race, then your championship, you might as well say goodbye to it.
And you asked me last week, am I thinking of that championship? And with missing Imola next week, the answer was not really, unless everybody else has a bad round or misses a week, because that 1 week missed used to sort of be, it's all right, no points, that's my drop score, that's fine. Now turns into such a big loss of points.
Well, it just proves, it would just be that the driver who goes out and does the right job for every round will be champion.
Yeah.
You know, it's I moaned about it quite often last season. With Andy's drop score, I will admit it was a big moan. It really wound me up. But every round he could have a bad round. I could have the best night over him, and he would still gain points due to being its drop score. So it's a season now where every race will count.
Yeah.
I think it's Andy won 3, maybe 4 races last season.
Yeah,
to
3.
my 11. So,
and let's not forget, your 11 is the most in pro in one season. We know the record's 14 from Fury. We know Jamie and myself have won 12 in the Pro-Am season, but Pro is 11. It was 8 previous to that, so you had to work harder to get that title, even though Andy kept dropping the scores. And like you say, this is what's going to make these drivers' challenge even more difficult, Dan, as while we've been blabbering on there, the first lap's just starting to roll in. Little Leach, look at that. We didn't see a 209 in practice. Nobody's yet voted for him. The poll will close in 2 minutes. I did, yeah. The poll will close in 2 minutes. But Little Leach setting that early pace and putting himself on provisional pole. But here comes Holty, the man to maybe challenge him. Not quite at the moment, a little off the back.
Yeah, a little bit off the pace at this precise stage of the lap, but that Buzzy Boy's still yet to set lap time. He's ghosting a little bit there. I'm not sure why he's ghosting, but I don't know if he's ghosting on your screen, but on mine he's he's gone invisible.
He's ghosting on mine as well. Now that to me would say that he's had some terminal damage, but in qualifying, let's not forget, you can just retire it to the pits and come back out. So I don't know if that's the case, and then he's carried on ghosting. But that one, a strange one in this qualifying session.
I'm just trying to find out who the lead car is, but that's Welshie in the wall, not what he would have wanted.
No, not
who is the lead car. DJ Phil is now the lead car. So let's see what DJ Phil is. So far, so good from DJ Phil. He's in the 2-minute 13s.
Yeah, seems around
the 212s.
Seems around Bryn's pace. Bryn around the low 212s, high 211s he's done at the minute. DJ Phil 213 as well. So is this the battle tonight, Phil versus Bryn?
He caught me out last week by saying that he's got a new wheel. Let's see if he's on the wheel today.
No.
So far to me, that looks like pad.
That's a very pad, twitchy sort of getting it.
Yeah,
that's pad. Yeah. Yeah, very easy. But look at the delta that he's up here, Dan. 1.1 seconds. That'll be good enough to put him around about Bryn again and pull himself away from Welshie. DJ Phil and Welshie have done the exact same lap time. What are the chances for them to do the exact same lap time as each other?
Tell you what, DJ Phil looks good in this Ginetta.
Yeah, he doesn't look bad, does he?
Last round he was very consistent in the Ginetta. He had a couple of drops, but there seems to be a car that seems to suit DJ Phil a little bit.
We said this about the
He's
McLaren,
running
though.
low fuel.
He didn't,
oh my God!
He is running
He's
low
not
fuel.
100 litres.
My days, that is a development for DJ Phil. To the line he comes, and wow, actually improves by 1.8.
Wow.
0.6 quicker than Bryn, then putting himself up to P3. You can't mess around on this. It's 2:09 a lap, 2:10 a lap for most drivers, so you really have to get on with it. That Buzzy Boy has not got on with it at the moment. Still doesn't have a lap time. Shenron to the line, currently quicker than Stealth Sloth. Improves, and I tell you what, that's a good lap time from Shenron there. Not far off the back of Welshie, just 1.5 seconds. Welshie, I don't think will improve this lap. We saw him off. So I think this will be a lap where he'll go again. Yes, he does. That Buzzy Boy still not yet set a lap time. Not too short. In fact, you can see where Buzzy Boy is. Look, even his dot on the track map is ghosted out as he's coming round the final section. Now he's got Little Leach right behind him. So far, no improvements from anybody else. But Buzzy not yet got a lap time out there. Ukbar, though, will start 11th.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there with Buzzy's camera because Little Leach has just driven right through him. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe one of them's had a problem, gone out, and then come back in again.
Yeah, possibly so. I'm not too sure neither. Stealth Sloth done. He will be done for the session, as will Bryn and Welshie. Here comes Bozzy to the line. Got to get a lap time in. He does. Only good enough for 5th place, though, at the minute.
Yeah, and that's all we can produce at the minute. Holty towards the line. Can he improve on his lap time? He doesn't. No. So he starts his final lap now. So all these guys are pretty much going to be on their last lap. But DJ Phil, I reckon, might be able to sneak another lap in.
Just about. Coming through Sector 2, down by 0.7 seconds here as he comes through Sector 2. Can he just squeeze one more run in? I wonder if he can squeeze that extra run in. Will that help him get towards where he needs to be in this session at the moment. As for Little Leach and Holty, Little Leach possibly could return to the pits. Bryn and that Bozzy Boy is now done. He's came back out the pit lane, but he's not going to get another lap in here. 45 seconds left. DJ Phil will, though. He will be the last man to finish this qualifying session.
He won't, because look at his fuel. He's got 0.0.
Oh, and, yeah.
That's him done.
Good
that
spot,
Dan.
Dan.
Done for the session.
Good spot, Dan. That is Phil done for the session then. And he backs right off. Holty's also done. That so Bozzy Boy and Shenron. Could Shenron get an extra lap in here?
I don't think he will. It's a long straight, and he's got to nail the final corner. He's carrying quite a lot of fuel, mind, so possibly that might have slowed him down. He's gone wide in the final corner as well. Towards the line he comes, and I don't think Shenron will improve. He looked a little bit deep in the final corner, but he is the last one to qualify.
No improvement from him, and he is done. So we are now, I do believe, just waiting for Welshie, who wasn't out there on a lap, but Little Leach will take his first pole of the season, and that is him on the front row of the grid. Holty is second. Welshie will be done. He starts a bit further down. Dan, talk us through the grid.
Well, your pro driver back into Pro-Am, and Little Leach takes pole position tonight. Starting on the front row with him will be that mighty Mercedes of Holty. In third place will be DJ Phil. Best qualifying session for him so far this season, and it's nice to see DJ Phil up there. Your championship leader, Bryn, currently in fourth place. So that Buzzy Boy who took pole position twice last week, he will be starting in fifth place position. Welshie in sixth. Seventh is Shenron. Eighth is Stelsloth. And the start of your non-qualifiers will be Edin Wasaki in ninth. Lucas Ross will start 10th. And Ukbar, who looked the favourite in practice, will start at the back.
At the back in 11th place. 11 drivers on this grid. And we said it was tight. Look how close they are. Let's just go on board Bryn or DJ Phil, who are third and fourth. Look how close. And there's a good example. Look at front of Bryn's car to Holty. That's DJ Phil's view to Little Leach. Not a lot of room. If we go back to the chase camera, you see the front of Bryn's car to the gap to Holty. Not a lot of room. Look in between them drivers as well. Not a lot of room at all. Look at Dean's angle from by the back row of the grid. Dean has got... look how close. I didn't even realise this. Look how close them guys are to the pit wall.
They are very
Look
close.
how close that is. Nobody thought to move that wall back a couple of inches, did they?
No, they didn't even think to go the other side, to be honest. They should have just had like a chicane towards, instead of the start-finish line, the chicane into the pit lane and then the chicane out. But like a bus stop chicane. But this is definitely going to be an interesting race. Matt, prediction for race winner. We got to do that before we get going.
I'm going to go Little Leach. I'm going to stick with my guns. I think the GOAT has taught him how to drive this Audi.
Oh, I'm going to go this man, Holty. I feel like Holty, his day is today in that Mercedes. With that extra power down the straights, I think Holty will look good for this one.
Well, let's
he
see.
Looks more stable than Little Leach.
He does, yes. Let's see what happens. That is Little Leach's third pole position here at Simplay Motorsport. Then only 3 pole positions in 6 seasons. Plus he did GT5s as well. That is not a lot of poles for him. In terms of that Audi, it now has a 18th pole, it now has 16 pole positions in the manufacturer's qualifying, tied with the Ginetta, but the revs are rising here. We're about to go green. It's go for the first time. I don't think Phil moved off the line, which has gifted Bryn a bit of a gap. And there, look, Bozzy Boy, Welshie and DJ Phil all close together. Bryn trying to find a way through on Holty as Bryn got an absolutely demon start, and Bryn cannot find the gap. The track starts to widen here. Bryn into turn 1 up the inside of Little Leach, and they're pretty much cuddling as they come through the corner. That looks like Phil's gone round. He's up. Who's he landed on there? That's Bozzy Boy. Phil. Yeah, Phil on the top of Bozzy Boy.
That's DJ Phil with major damage. He'll have to hit the reset button. He is allowed to do so when he's on his roof. But DJ Phil, excuse me, on his roof. And
look at these 4, Dan.
Anywhere time soon.
Look at them 4 up front. Bryn, Little Leach, Holty and Welshie. We said about that Mercedes grunt. Holty doesn't know where to defend. Little Leach and Bryn have been side by side since turn 1. And all 3 have ran deep. Little Leach, they're better. Oh, Bryn's over! Bryn's gone over! I think that was Keegs who tapped him, it looked like. Holty and this Shenron now up into 4th place. But Welshie was deep as well. You cannot write this start. Phil has got going. But Bryn and Phil, major damage lap 1.
Yeah, major damage, and not the start that they would have wanted whatsoever. And Welsh, the big winner out of all of that. And I think Lucas Roth really was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and he's gone round. Yeah, he's just in the wrong place, wrong time, and caught Bryn out. And Bryn, your championship leader with no rear wing, will have to pit.
Well, yeah, as will DJ Phil, who's just coming down to where the drama happened. It was as if somebody dumped an oil truck on the track. Look at Holty. He went deep at one corner. He's now trying to battle with Shenron, and he's on the outside. He's got onto the dirty stuff. So did Ukbar. And Shenron currently defending for third place. Dean Wasocki in the background for sixth. And Holty and Ukbar side by side down towards Sector 2 timings. They've just broken into the right-hander. Holty up to fourth. He's gone deep. Shenron's got deep. Oh, Ukbar come across the front of Holty there. And these Janettas look like they're Tigger because they're bouncing everywhere.
As Phil finally got going, yes he has, he's finally got underway, but both Janettas have gone flying. Shenron's gone deep. That's good.
Dean's followed him.
As well.
Wow, at the final corner. That is a strange place to go that deep. Final corner. Shenron returns to the track. Dean massively off as well. That's promoted Bozzy after having Phil upside down on top of him at turn 1, lap 1. Bozzy's back on the podium. Welshie from Little Eat. Shenron fourth. But what drama's in the opening start of this race. Bryn's got past Ukbar after Ukbar's damage, and Bryn can find himself in the pits. And with no rear wing, that's pretty much a given that one will not be looked at.
Yeah, both Ukbar, DJ Phil and Bryn, all these guys into the pits, and I really think they don't need to pit again.
Oh wow, Dan,
damage.
DJ Phil cannot pit on the same lap as Ukbar.
I mean, he's still halfway around the track, he's still not there.
Yeah, fair one.
He might be able to get out in time, but Welshie just sticking to Little Leach right now. Little Leach just has to focus on his lap. But look at this, Shenron and that Bozzy boy going at it for third and fourth. Will we be talking to Rob on the podium? That's the question.
Shenron fighting for this, look, and he's fighting hard. Liam must have made another mistake somewhere because Shenron went off at the final corner and is now back up to P3. Shenron absolutely flying at the minute up into P3, and the Teletubby Motorsport Mercedes-Benz, both of them, you see, carrying some big damage. And I'll tell you what, it's a good job this isn't an extremely clean race, because we know what happens when Pro-Am are extremely clean.
Yeah, we do know exactly what happens. Stealth Sloth manages to stick a little bit out of trouble. That's giving him that 7th place position, so Dean will drop down to 8. And to be fair, how Shenron's managed to get away with that contact or incident with Dean is amazing, considering he's still in 3rd place position, although he's 13 seconds behind the top 2 who have been given this lead so far. Ukbar exits pit. DJ Phil is into the final straight, so that pit stop issue won't have an effect. And Lucas Roth has passed his teammate Halsey.
He has passed his teammate Halsey. The most important thing for Bryn and Ukbar there as well, Dan, is that they are not a lap down on these drivers. A long lap here, so they're not a lap down. That'll be good for them too to carry on. Look at Bozzy Boy trying to just get his way past Shenron, just tapping the rear and backs out of that one, thinks better of it. You see all 3 Mercedes drivers carrying a lot of front end damage because the nose of their car is just squished. Lucas Roth now looking for a move on Bozzy Boy. Shenron probably breaks a little bit earlier than normal for that last corner based off what happened on the last lap, and away they go now. Lucas Roth on the curb. That's going to gift Holty another place as he didn't get the run out the corner. I think Dean might be carrying some damage. All 4 Mercedes do not look the quickest here as they all have damage to their cars.
Dean seems like he's caught Stealth Soft there. The Stealth Soft is now re-overtaking him in the Lamborghini. We go back to the front. Bozzy Boy isn't quite close enough to Shenron, but Dean not able to use his Mercedes advantage to get past the Lamborghini.
Too much damage, I wonder, when he went off at the last corner at the end of lap 1 as Bryn here, whoa, catch that one, and he does brilliantly. Still on the lead lap, thankfully for Bryn. He can push to get back. Rob's gone wide at the exit of turn 2, and that gives Bozzy Boy the extra place and possibly Holty a run. Down the hill they come, and I tell you what, Shenron might not be kicking himself for that because he looks like he's got little damage compared to these Mercedes, so come the pit stops, Shenron could be finding himself quite alright. Here comes Keegs, gets caught out by Shenron on the brakes, and into the corner. Keegs just pushing him a little wide, and get off the curbs, because that curb.
Lost his rear wing.
From what? From that contact?
I think Lucas Roth just hit in the rear of him, has lost his rear wing.
That seemed very minimal, but righto, Shenron then will have to pit at the end of this lap. The pit window opens at the end of lap 4, but 3 of our drivers are already had to pit. This will be the 4th driver. What now?
Yeah, definitely. So obviously that's significant damage. The car will become undrivable as he touches the curb there, and look at Stealth Soft just catch him like he's nothing there. So Shenron really struggling. As he's
Oh,
dropped
yeah,
the rear,
yeah.
the Stelsov caught out by that. So he's going to have to tiptoe that car back. Me and Fury both know
look
how
at him.
difficult it is to control a car with no rear wing, and he's in the wall.
Yeah, and he's on the pad as well. Bozzy Boy, Holty as well there. Very, very wide. And Holty giving that time back, you see there, as Keys gets to run on him through the corner. That Bozzy Boy up to 4th. Shenron now down to 8th. He'll have to come into the pits. He can probably take a bit of advantage knowing that he's not going to be a lap down on the leaders here as well. She has been dropped by Little Leach a little bit over the course of this last lap. And Dean trying to get back on the pace of Stealth Sloth. But for Shenron here, an early stop that he may not have wanted to make, forced into it though by that slight, very small contact of Keegs there. But we've seen this in the past time where very small contact leads to a lot of damage on that rear wing.
Yeah, very much so. I've just clipped walls before and lost the rear wing on the McLaren and the Porsche. And as we see there, that Bozzy Boy moving around a lot as Keegs nearly hits the back of him there. So I had to pull out of that one, and that Bozzy Boy really trying to hold the position against the two Teletubbies Racing boys.
He is indeed. The pit window opens this lap, so drivers can pit, and I'm expecting to see majority of the grid in, Ball, Keegs or Holty. Maybe we'll see Stealth Sloth, and I don't think we'll see this man in there, who's having probably the best race of his night. We said about Smokey Devil last night in the touring cars, always third he seems to be. That seems to be where Walsh is at times, but tonight he's currently running P2. Lucas Roth now has a run over that Bozzy Boy, and down the hill they come. Shenron is in the pits at the end of lap 3.
Yeah, he gets that in the pits. Obviously, that won't class as a... Whoa, as that Bozzy Boy completely drops it all on his own there. And both Teletubby Racing boys get caught out by that.
Indeed.
So I'm not sure what Liam was trying there, but that was very, very dramatic.
He's also lost out to Uncle Dean, as Dean's got past him now, and away goes Dean. Stealth Sloth must have dropped it somewhere, because Dean's got back past him and has dropped right off the back. But yeah, you're right. Lucas... that Bozzy Boy having a big mistake all on his own as the lead... who is that passing Shenron? Is that the leaders just putting a lap on Shenron? No, it wasn't. That must have been Bryn. Yeah, it was
no,
Bryn.
they're not too far off.
Bryn's passed him, and I think Ukbar's passed him. But it's not registered Ukbar has overtaken him for some reason. Not quite sure why there then. Because he hasn't. So who's that by Bryn then? Oh, that must be DJ Phil. So DJ Phil's come out a lap down. So Phil's unlapped himself from Shenron. As what's happened to Bozzy once again here?
He's gone off. Bozzy Boy's gone off. I don't know if looks like he's had a rear. The snap has gone on him. So Shenron looks like he's going to drop down the order. He's not going to lose out to DJ Phil, but he is dropping down the order. Little Leach choosing not to pit, nor does Welshie. Now, the Teletubbies boys should really start thinking about pitting because they both have damage. Lucas Roth first on track, but Dean is starting to catch Holty now.
I think Holty must have made a mistake because he was closer to the back of Lucas Roth last lap than this, but it looks like he's made a mistake somewhere. We're expecting cars in, and Lucas Roth clearly feeling that he's got pace to go. Does this invite Holty into the pits? Of course it does. You'd be surprised not to see Dean in, but he doesn't choose to follow Holty. Strategy-wise, Dean clearly feels that he can keep going in this race. I imagine we'll also see that Bozzy Boy in, though.
Yeah, Bozzy Boy coming out of the final corner. Willie up to pit. No, he's on the grass. He's in the wall big time there. Big damage for that Bozzy Boy. He should be into the pits realistically. And what a dramatic change we've had from Sakito to Road America. This man was so dominant.
He's not pitting.
Yeah, Road America. He's nowhere.
He's not pitting, and that really surprises me. He's going to lose some big time to Bryn and Ukbar in this race, and you'd imagine Shenron might get back past that Bozzy Boy as well. The thing for Shenron here is he can follow the leaders pretty much and try and stick with them in terms of being... In fact, did he get out just before Little Leach? No, he's behind them. He's just gone through Sector 1. Shenron could try and follow the leaders and not have to let Lucas Roth and Dean and Stealth Sloth through. But on to lap 5 here, and I'm surprised not to see that Bozzy Boy into the pit lane. Shenron then, down in P10, Phil 11th. Is 1 minute 5 behind. That's a lot of time for Phil to make up. Shenron just has to plod along here and just keep it going.
Yeah, there's not much that he can do. Holty coming out the pits. Bryn actually not too far behind Holty after his damage. So Bryn is actually on a recovery drive a little bit here. But Bryn, a little bit of a wiggle there. Holty has had mistakes himself. I don't see Bryn getting near the top 3. This man, though, is having to behave this week after collecting 10 penalty points himself, and he's done the easy way so far. He's taken pole and he's disappeared so far. Yeah. He's got 8.5 second over Little Welshie. But the other thing that Little Leach doesn't have to worry about, with no Smithy here tonight, he can choose when he pits whenever he likes. It's down to him at the end of the day.
It is indeed, and you'd imagine as well that with this guy on good form at the minute in Little Leach, he needs to carry that second race on. And there you said about Holty he's made mistakes. Well, there is one.
Yeah, there's me thinking that Holty. I think I've cursed Holty for this race. I actually think I have. As DJ Phil's behind him, he's still a lap down, DJ Phil, but Holty just struggling with the car a little bit, as it seems.
He does seem to be at the minute. Little Leach leads from Welshie, from Lucas Roth, from Dean. Stelzloff, that Bozzy boy. Dean's had another problem. Out the right-hander, just at the bottom of the circuit. Coming towards the final couple of corners, he's had a mistake. Stelzloff also went deep. People being caught out by these corners here. And you can tell who's had the practice and who hasn't, because those who's practiced seem to be doing not too bad. Those who haven't are struggling like mad. And at the end of lap 5, Keegs comes into the pits for his stop, as probably wisely does Dean Wysocki. And where is Stelzloff off to? That Bozzy boy's had another mistake. So where's Bryn? There goes, that is DJ Phil, I think, who's just gone. Bryn's got past Liam. Yes, Bryn's got past Liam. Now, I think Phil's had another spin because he looked like he was losing it as he come through this part of the track. But Bryn now up into 6th place because of people making mistakes themselves. Lucas Roth and Dean are in the pits for their stops. Where is Bryn? Can Bryn jump Dean and Lucas Roth maybe? He came out not far off the back of Holty.
I don't think he'll get Lucas Roth. He might get Dean.
Well, we'll have to wait
in the pits
and see. Dean got his wipers on. No rain forecast. Bryn coming up the hill now. Lucas Roth will be off his limiter. No, that's a decent stop from Dean. So will he get Dean? Probably so, you know.
There's Lucas. Yeah. I told you. It's going to be close, though.
Very
Bryn
close.
With much more speed.
He's back.
Someone for Bryn. Very cautious. What's happened to Little Leach?
What has happened to Little Leach? 1.1 the gap between him and Welshie. Does he carry damage on that car as well? If so, Little Leach struggling, but Bryn now up to 5th. Holty also got past Dean as well in that moment. Bozzy Boy is now into the pits for his stop. I'm surprised we didn't see him in a little earlier, but Little Leach, Welshie and Stelzloff, the 3 who haven't stopped and currently 1st, 2nd and 3rd on track. But Little Leach, crucially making a big mistake, has invited Welshie into this race here. Is he going to stop himself? No, he's not. What's happened to Welshie? Must have had a wiggle somewhere because he has dropped off the pace already.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting race as he goes across on a 23.3. That's a poor lap. Well, Welshie's still doing the 15, so not as poor as Stelzloff did a 36.6. But Stelzloff in 3rd place, not pitted yet, but he's keeping his nose clean.
Plodding along.
Out of trouble.
Yeah, plodding along, doing what he needs to do. And the most important thing is he's letting everybody else drop it around him. Bryn seems to have been pretty consistent. Not quick, but consistent since his pit stop. Doing a similar job to Stelzloff. And that is why them two are 3rd and 4th at the minute. Because actually, what has happened to Lucas Roth? Because Bryn's got past him.
Maybe Lucas Roth made a mistake, but Bryn is taking his time and just picking people off bit by bit. Lucas Roth does seem to have the pace here. He's not massively quick, but he does seem a lot better than he did at Sakito.
Got the racing on the big telly tonight. Listening while bathing Little Maya. All the best, lad, says Gary131 in the chat. I hope your missus have approved of that one. But Welshie now, you're right what you say about Bryn. Just keeping that momentum up from Skeeto as is Stelzloff. Lucas Roth trying to improve from Skeeto. Dean trying to get back on the rear end of Holty. And a lot of... Yeah, he's still got his wipers on, so I don't know if that helps him concentrate, but look at that Bozzy boy. He's 8 seconds off the back of Shenron. Shenron are way down on Ukbar, but they're all well in front of DJ Phil at this moment. It's a tight 3rd to 7th, with 21 seconds separating the top from 3rd to 7th. The top 2, though, they've got a pit stop, if not 2 pit stops, over the leaders at the minute. Stelzloff, though, when will this man pit? We reckon if he pits, he'll be around the Dean battle, I reckon.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be a close one. Well, Stelzloff will come out the pits. He should be around the Ukbar, Chiron kind of region. But, yeah, hopefully that Stelzloff, I hope his patience rewards him. I really do. Yes. Because he's not the quickest guy on track, but he does always... he always does seem to be in the right place at the right time when he needs to. And it's nice seeing him at the front every now and then and really putting on a good show with his teammate as well. MC Motorsport really doing well this season already with points.
You have to think. You have to think as well, Dan, with Smithy missing tonight, Super Crash Bros and MC Motorsport have a real chance to gain some points over the Super Crash Bros. Yes, Teletubby Motorsport have both their drivers here, and so do Terminal Velocity Racing, but Ukbar and DJ Phil aren't scoring well, and Teletubby Motorsport, you know, they're scoring all right for 5th and 6th. But Super Crash Bros and MC Motorsport, in regards to this man not having the GOAT with him, could really pull some points in the Constructors' battle.
Yeah, definitely so, and for himself as well. Can he get himself back into the pro? The other question is, can his brother stay in pro and maybe get the duo back again? Bryn seems to have lost a little bit of time again, as Lucas Roth has brought that gap down a little bit.
Yeah, 2:14.8 for Bryn on the last lap. Maybe he's just had a problem this time around. But again, not quick, but consistent. Keegs, though, looks quite rapid tonight. He looks like Keegs is back to his best at this track. Few mistakes, but he seems to be, starting to get into the groove of this Mercedes-Benz.
He doesn't seem too happy with the Mercedes-Benz, but nonetheless, he's definitely working his way back to his usual self. We know that Keegs is a quick driver. We know what Keegs can do. Both you and I, Matt, know this kid's potential. And it's just, it's never gone his way. It's a few drivers on the list that's never had race wins, and it is this one. And we're so shocked at that. AH is another one as well. Never had a race win with so much talent.
Yeah, exactly. And you think back to the races, AH, like you said, you look at the races he's had with Keegs, and you just kind of sit there and go, how? How has he not had a race win in all this time? But it just hasn't fallen his way, like you say. Someone who's trying to make it fall his way is Dean, but Holty lapping a bit quicker than Dean, some 1.5 seconds quicker on that last lap. Dean just dropping off the back of Holty, although caught Holty quite a bit through turn 1, so I wonder if Holty was a bit more cautious going through there. Lucas Rothlook lapping quicker than his dad in second place. Brynner 2:14 dead.
Bryn, he's dropped it.
He has dropped it. I was just about to say Brynner to 2:14 dead, but must have made a mistake this lap. He's dropped behind Lucas Roth now, but these two are catching on Stealth Sloth, and Stealth Sloth has a pit stop to make. Can't make it. In fact, Stealth Sloth probably can make his pit stop this lap, as well as he's that far in front of him. In and out, and Stealth Sloth can do it on the same lap.
This should be interesting. If Welsh can get a good pit stop, and Little Leach makes a mistake, she could be the race leader for this race. So it's going to be an interesting one. It's pretty much a 2-horse race now for the last few laps. Welshie is putting Little Leach under pressure by being there. That's a decent stop from him. That's a car flying past. I think that was Shenron. Yep,
that's him unlapping himself from Welshie. And I think that puts Shenron back on the lead lap of Welshie now. So Shenron, I think, is the last driver to be on the lead lap and should be on the lead lap from Little Leach, possibly when Little Leach comes in for his pit stop. So it should be up to Shenron that's on the lead lap of this race.
The reason I'm sticking on with Little Leach is because we know what Little Leach was like in practice. He was making a few mistakes here and there. Right now, he needs to make sure this is the best in-lap he can possibly do.
Indeed he does. Is this his in-lap though, or is he just going to give it another one? 40, I've just seen that comment. 40 seconds is the gap Welshie to Little Leach, and Welshie was about 4 seconds behind Little Leach on pit entry, so that to me is about 35 seconds lost for Welshie in the pit. So 30 to 40 seconds between there, depending on your stop, could be lost in the pit lane. And as we see, Welshie already bringing that gap down under 40 seconds as he's coming down the straights. So Little Leach then, crucial in-lap for him, and as Gary saying in the chat, where was this form last season?
Clearly wasn't in the Audi. They went back to what they knew, which was the Porsche, and they couldn't get it to work. So now they're in new cars, separate machines, separate championships. Are they going to find the love, and then they're going to come together and be like, well, I want to drive this car. No, I want to drive this car.
One wants to drive the Mercedes, one wants to drive the Audi, and they end up in the BMW. Holty back in the pits. Now what's happened here? That's gifted Uqbal 7th place and will give Shenron a P7 here then. Little Leach choosing not to pit, but Holty's come back in.
Yeah, Holty back in. Looks like he's got more damage to that car. And do you know what? I think that would make Dean go a lot faster if he turned his wipers off. It's probably his car. I think he's in.
Oh, is that Bozzy? Is that Bozzy? No rear wing.
That Bozzy boy. What a dramatic start.
What a turnaround for him. Dominates 2 races. Whoa!
Wow. He needs to make it to the end now, or a penalty will come his way. We are urging drivers to finish races and...
needs to make it the end, score some points. He's only got 2 for getting 2 pole positions, so he needs the points, really, as well.
Yeah, he does, really. As Little Leach coming down to the middle sector, and Welshie in the... he's made a mistake somewhere, because
he's lost some 5 seconds, hasn't he, as Welshie. Bryn's back in front of Lucas Roth.
These two keep swapping positions.
Ebbing and flowing between these two, but they are gaining while they're driving. They are gaining on, Stealth Sloth, who's only 5 seconds up the road, and he has to pit still. So will Stealth pit at the end of this lap? I tell you what, Stelsloff now might come out and gain that extra place because of the fact Holty's had to pit.
He definitely has had to pit, so well, this should be an interesting fight between Lucas Roth and Bryn. Who's going to come out on top between these two?
There is Stelsloff
right on the back of Bryn. This is technically fighting for a podium position. Stelsloff is still yet to pit, so...
Yeah, this for third and fourth as well. She's got that gap once again back under 40 seconds. Stelsloff now comes in at the end of lap 9. So Stelsloff in, just Little Leach we're waiting on then. So a podium. This could be 3 races in a row that we're speaking to Bryn so far this season. This might promote Dean up to a P5. Top 6 can't qualify, so all these guys won't be able to qualify. But look at the Mercedes grunt. Bryn's already defended early. Gives Keegs a car's width on the outside and just gets it slow and steady into turn 1. And Keegs yields because that Mercedes looked a little slidey, but Welshie once again has that gap under 40 seconds, Dan. Just wonder what's happening here. Has Little Leach made another mistake somewhere as he now is coming into the pits at the end of lap 10?
Well, he is now through the carousel while Little Leach is into the pits. Little Leach gets it stopped. He doesn't get the penalty. Bryn has made a little bit of gap over Lucas Roth as Stelsloff is now on his way, and he looks like he's going to stay ahead of Shenron.
Yeah,
He's still in the final sector, so good points for Stelsloff.
Yeah, 7th place. Oh, Lucas Roth, bit of a twitch. Did Bryn have one as well?
He looked like he had a wiggle as well. Dean's going to be more interested by these two messing around. But Little Leach in the pits. Where is Welshie? Welshie into the final sector.
Little Leach is away.
Little Leach is gone.
Yep, so that then will be the race lead, and it's a question of how much Welshie will be behind Little Leach compared to what it was before he pitted. 4 seconds was the gap before Little Leach pitted. What is the gap as they come out the pits? Little Leach off the limiter now, and away he goes. But who's that in front of Little Leach? I believe it's Shenron, who's just in front of Little Leach. Indeed it is, so Little Leach will have traffic early doors, although he doesn't need to fight with Shenron. You remember last week when Little Leach was a lap down to Shenron?
The other way around this time.
Either way, Little Leach 6 seconds, so he's gained 2 seconds out of that, extending his pit stop here then. Dean within 7 seconds of Bryn and Lucas Roth. So Dean trying to get on the back of these two coming into this race. Liam back into the pit. A nightmare round for him, but 11th place points nonetheless. And while his teammate's not here, he needs to score for the team. Bryn managing to keep just under 2 seconds ahead of Lucas Roth, and Dean trying to stick with him. 7 seconds Dean is now to Bryn and Lucas, and was a lot quicker than Lucas Roth. If you look at Bryn's time last lap around, was only 1.6 slower than Welshie. So Bryn just starting to get his laps, getting better and better here.
Yeah, definitely. So he's starting to get the car underneath him. Maybe these guys might come a bit more pace later on. As I talk about Welshie, his last lap was his best. A 2 minute 12.2, probably one of the best, matching Ukbar, who's on his own. Ukbar's done a good recovery from the back of the pack. He's up to 6th in that horrible zone where he won't be allowed to qualify again.
Yes.
Same for Dean and Lucas Roth. All three who weren't allowed to qualify won't be allowed to qualify again.
Cannot qualify again. I mean, it's not done them too bad. They're in the top half. They've had a good, solid first race. But you're right about Welshie. And Dan, let's not forget, this is going from early morning. By the time we end this race, it's going to be 6:30 local time. So the temperature and the track is going to improve as the sessions go on. So come the end of race 2 at 8:30 in the morning, the track might be at its best, and we might start to see drivers doing their best laps. Shenron being caught by Holty. Holty 1.2 up on his best lap. As there's DJ Phil. Bozzy Boy still in the pits. What a nightmare start to his season.
Car's gone off there. Is it Shenron? Yeah, he's gone off. He's got to be careful that the leaders don't get hit. And Welshie manages to negotiate that Audi, and looks like Shenron.
Oh, he's gone straight on.
He's gone deep. He's made his own mistake there. Nothing Shenron did wrong. He got back on track, and Welshie, obviously, you can see Shenron there. He's on the pad, so when he gets suspension damage, it is a nightmare.
Absolute nightmare. Holty's going to get past him then. Depending on his damage and how long the pit stop takes, I don't think DJ Phil will get past Shenron, and Shenron will definitely not finish last as he's going to lap that Bozzy Boy possibly in the pit lane. But Welshie has pretty much lost his second place. The battle, though, is 3rd and 4th. Dean's dropped back a little bit from Bryn and Lucas Roth these last couple of laps, but he's still lapping quicker than Keegs. Bryn starting to just gap nicely over Lucas Roth because Bryn pulled 2 seconds over Keegs on that last lap. I think, though, Keegs may have had a better lap this time because he started to bring that gap back down.
He is slowly bringing that gap down. Maybe Bryn not had a good lap, but Lucas Roth trying to get his head down. He needs to get on the podium, start giving himself a good run here. Are we going to see a father-son duo on the podium? That's what I've just sat here thinking. Welshie, the father of Lucas Roth, aka Keegs, if they both get on the podium together, that should be interesting.
We've
see.
never had a father-son podium, if I'm right.
We got very close to me and Kelly at Texas. But we've never had a father-son duo on the podium.
Never had. Me and Floyd was 1st and 5th at Melbourne in the F1. You and Kelly close at Texas. But never a father-son podium. So this could be a first for Simplay Motorsport as Bryn a bit wiggly out of turn 1 and into turn 2. And Lucas Roth just starting to gain on him now. Dean coming under some pressure from Ukbar as well. Behind these guys who had a terrible last lap. I say Bryn's 2:14 is not it's not a terrible lap for Bryn's pace, but Lucas Roth just lapping a lot better. And here he comes, that Mercedes grunt.
Just has to be patient here, Lucas Diaz. He's got the advantage of the power of the Mercedes. He just needs to take his time. That Bozzy boy's still in the pits.
Dreadful race for him. Shenron's came out just ahead of DJ Phil, so DJ Phil could get top 10 here in this first race, depending on how him and Shenron go about it. Bozzy Boy still sat there having a dreadful race. That is some big damage that he must have accumulated there. Dean under pressure from Ukbar, but not as close as this battle for 3rd and 4th. Bryn all over the curbs and will be dreading going over them. He will not want to have a mistake or a wiggle. Here then is Ukbar gaining on the back of Dean and quietly going, but he's not. He's passed him because once again, we talk about it every week, Dean has made a mistake and gifts away 5th place.
Yeah, as soon as the car gets on the back of him, he starts making a bit of pressure. Oh, Lucas Roth through the kink, and he has a massive wiggle, but he manages to keep it under control. And brilliant stuff there from him.
These two are ebbing and flowing here, Dan. The time is going. Keegs gets on the back of Bryn. Bryn pulls away. Keegs makes a mistake. Bryn makes a mistake. Yeah, and the gap is coming down and then going back up to what it was without really any pressure from them, without making moves on each other or defending. They're making their own mistakes here. Maybe just driving too hard to pull away or to get past. But either way, Lucas Roth has it all to do once again on Bryn. Lap 13 of 15, and Bryn currently on that final podium spot. Bit of news for you though, that Bozzy boy is out the pit lane.
3 minutes, 47 seconds.
Jesus.
But that's him going in, right? And his pit box is past the start-finish line.
Yeah.
Let's see what his lap time is
His
when he
out
comes
lap
back
could
out.
be horrendous then. Shenron did a 3:23 and he had damage on the last lap. He's pulled 17 seconds over Phil, so Phil must have made a mistake, excuse me. Lucas Roth, though, on the back of Bryn once again, just over 1.3 seconds here. That Audi actually pulling away from Bryn as now the time starts to come back down. The Mercedes now starts to grunt, starts to kick in that bit more. And Bryn looking to just keep consistent. Again, another 2:14 from Bryn. You can't fault his keep it together. Keegs keep it together as they both wiggle through the corner. You can't fault Bryn's consistency in this race at the minute.
He's definitely doing a champion's drive at the minute. He's doing everything that he needs to do. Lucas Roth makes his own mistakes. Bryn doesn't have to necessarily change his line or change his position. Lucas Roth is the one that has to go around him. And at this rate, Keegs just does not have the pace to get past Bryn.
No, he doesn't at all. 24 people watching. Guys, girls, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you are new, and hit that bell to be notified as this man is on the penultimate lap of the race here. Just started it. Welshie crosses the line to join him on lap 14. And you look at Bryn. If Bryn didn't have that incident race one, turn 1 maybe, that one, sorry, would he be fighting Welshie for this podium spot? That, though, is the big question. Dean hasn't got on the back of Ukbar. He has lost out massively. Ukbar in the 2:11s with little each. Ukbar flying, excuse me.
I did say this man likes this track, and Ukbar is flying. He really does love this circuit, and I bet he was absolutely loving it when he saw that this circuit was on the calendar. And to be fair, in a car that I would not expect to be quick around it.
No, I wouldn't have. The straight lines round here, the top speed of it round here is very quick, so I wouldn't have expected the Ginetta to do that well. Keegs has lost out a lot more than over Bryn this lap.
I've just noticed as well, if these two keep lapping at the lap times they're doing, 2:14s, right?
Yeah.
If they make a mistake at any point...
Oh, yeah. Ukbar's
Look where
right in
Ukbar
it.
is.
7.5 seconds behind. Ukbar is coming. 2:14 dead for Bryn. 2:14.7. They've both lost 2 seconds to Ukbar. 2.7 nearly if you Keegs. Over Ukbar. Ukbar's flying, but he's only got 2 laps to do it.
Ukbar needs them to make a mistake.
Yeah.
For him to get back on the podium.
100%.
What a recovery drive. And the fact that he's been involved in an incident where he was flying across the screen, he could be potentially on his way to a podium, but it's really down to these two. Uqbar just needs
Has
to keep
Keeks
on the
made
island.
another mistake this lap? Because he's now 2.7 behind Bryn. So Bryn has pulled even further away from Keeks. From when they came out the last corner, it was 1.5. Bryn's pulled a second over Keeks this lap. Keeks struggling a little bit.
You see there, that Buzzy boy staying right out the way. Brilliant job from Liam there, keeping well out the way and then letting the leaders pull away. So Bryn's able to make that gap on Lucas Roth. Lucas Roth just a little bit cautious here and there. That's giving Uqbar a sniffing opportunity.
4.9 to Lucas Roth, look. So he's gained some 3 seconds nearly over the course of this lap alone. Little Each has just started the final lap. Uqbar could be on for at least a 4th place here. Bryn driving a very good race at the moment and doing everything he needs to. Great comeback drive from Bryn and from Uqbar in this one. That Bozzy Boy and DJ Phil not had the comeback drive they'd have wanted. As there was something off the back of that Bozzy Boy's car there. Gravel, maybe, as he keeps it still as Dean comes round. He has just had a race to forget.
He has had a race to forget. Well, she's had an absolute stellar of a night so far. Kept his nose clean and up into 2nd place position. The Scottish shove it is back and he's come back with force. And he's going to start off tonight with a podium. Bryn has just got one job left to do, and that's keep Lucas Roth behind him for one more lap. Uqbar is not bringing the inroad in. He's not getting close enough. He needs the cars in front to make a mistake. And I think Bryn has made a mistake. He went a little bit wide. As Lucas Roth seems to get a little bit closer again.
The gap's just dropped under 4 seconds before Uqbar come round that final corner. So Uqbar is coming here as Bryn comes to the line, a 2:15.1. Not the best lap for Bryn, a 2:15 dead for Lucas Roth. For Uqbar here, a 2:11.8, so nearly some 4 seconds quicker. What does he need to get to Lucas Roth? 4 seconds. So this lap for Uqbar, he's got to be on it. Little Each coming to the back of Stove Sloth. Top drive from Bryn, says Audio Sport Pro Labs. Little Each, what a teammate, says the GOAT in the chat. He's alright, Smithy. I wouldn't say he's as good as the one you had last year. But either way, Uqbar and Little Each, the only guys in the 211s. And Uqbar, 3.1, 3.3 it's just gone up to. That'll be the Mercedes down the straight. He's got to be thinking, I could possibly nick this 4th place, you know.
Yeah, Bryn is going to be under a lot of pressure towards the end. This is a corner they all seem to struggle with. Bryn gets through it, Lucas Roth gets through it. But we go back to this man.
This man, he's had a great drive already in the first race. He took the race 2 win last week. He's going to win the 3rd round of the season. And it's going to be Little Each for Pick and Mix Motorsport to take race win number 2 this year. And on his way maybe to taking that step and that challenge to Bryn in this championship. Welshie though, he comes round the final corner. He's coming up to take a 2nd place and barely got on the podium last season. Especially a 2nd this year. The 2 races he's finished, he's been on the podium, a 3rd place. I say finished, he didn't start race 2 last time, but a 2nd place for Bryn, great for Welshie, great drive. Bryn though, to back up his 1st and 2nd last week, is looking to get on the podium once again. He's got this tricky section to get through. There is Lucas Roth. There is Uqbar. Uqbar 2.7 he's got the gap down to. What a valiant drive from Uqbar this has been, but I don't think, Dan, it's going to be enough.
I don't think it's going to be enough. Bryn just has to survive the final few corners. Lucas Roth is trying everything he possibly can to get onto the back of Bryn. It's less than half. It's coming down to less than half a second now. It's Bryn, or is it Lucas Roth towards the final corner? Keeks is sending it into the final corner. Bryn just needs to get the traction, which he does.
Yeah.
And your championship leader is going to make it 3 podiums in a row.
And what a start to the season that this man is having. Bryn takes the final podium spot for P3. Great drive from Keeks, pushing him all the way. Uqbar, great comeback drive for that P5. But Dan, Dean in the wall with Stove Sloth. He's finished. So unfortunately, fortunately for Dean, he will not have to... Shenron's had a problem. Bit more damage for him. That's coming up the left-hander there. Just seen a few drivers make it Bozzy again. What a terrible night for Bozzy. Just seen a few drivers make a lot of mistakes here at the end of this race. Holty P8, he won't have been happy with that one. Shenron P9, Stove Sloth 7th. Dean though, 6th place for him. We'll wait for the fastest lap. But Dan, Bryn here putting up a championship drive. Little Each and Welshie being dominant in this early stages.
Yeah, definitely so. Little Each and Welshie avoiding the trouble at the start. And definitely what Little Each and Welshie would want the night to begin.
Interesting.
What's a start to the season that Bryn is having?
Interesting. Now, depending on the fastest lap, Little Leach will lead the championship by a point. If Bryn took fastest lap, which I don't think he has, Bryn will make it tied. But so far, it's going Bryn and Little Leach's way and starting to pull a gap. We'll sort the tables out, though, as we wait for the final driver to cross the line. I think that's that Bozzy boy at the final corner. He's not going to get to the line. Whoever it is isn't going to get to the line. We await, though, for fastest lap. And then we'll head to a quick ad break. But the fastest lap for the first race of the evening then, a 2:11 dead, a 2:11.5 from Uckbar. So Little Leach does take the fastest lap and gains the extra point. But it's Little Leach from Welshie from Bryn, your podium runners. We'll be right back in about 5 minutes' time with race 2 in Q2. Top 6 can't qualify. So Little Leach, Welshie, Bryn, Lucas Roth, Uckbar and Dean cannot qualify. We'll be back in just a moment.
In a bit.
Well, that was a interesting, crazy race 1. A lot of problems for people there.
You boys are going to have fun tomorrow night.
Fucking don't.
An overtaker doesn't sound confident at all.
No, he doesn't, does he?
No. I so wish I was racing. Where's Welshie? There he is.
Right, let's go pop to the toilet. Little Leach, Bryn and Welshie.
Well done, boys.
Oh.
Yeah, boy.
Bryn, just to put it in perspective, mate, you haven't dropped out of the podium so far this season.
I know. I don't know how I manage that.
You know what to do the next time? Just disconnect.
Keeping your nose clean, that's how you're doing it.
Uh-huh.
Nah, well done, mate. That was a very good drive, considering you had Keegs and Uckbar hunting you at the end.
Yeah, and I had to pay him first lap.
Yeah, we saw that. We saw the damage.
Damage.
That was a good recovery. Little Leach, well, typical pro pace, you know, just fuck off into the distance.
Catching Leach.
Oh, thanks, mate.
I'm putting in appeals. Well, he shouldn't have been pro-am. I'm starting early.
He put himself there.
Because he wasn't winning pro anymore, that was it. So you had to put yourself down. You done like fucking Jamie Brazier.
I love the fact that you had like the complete opposite of what you had at Touring Cars Welshie.
Oh, honestly.
I don't know what the fuck half the Touring Car boys were doing. By the way, I apologise for...
Yeah, you threw me in the fucking wash, you know.
I blame Fury. I blame Fury, man.
Yeah, because Fury, I shouldn't have been in that position in the first place, because Fury just punted us straight on, basically, and I end up wide as I come on, you're coming out, and...
He chopped my nose,
yeah.
which then twatted you, and then you came back on track, and I was like, oh shit, there he is.
Yeah.
And then I ate you. And I was like,
next
oh,
to no
fuck.
both are away. Yeah, like I say, it's a 50-50 kind of thing. I just kind of seem to get the touring cars to stick.
Yeah, they're a weird beast. With the front wheel drive, especially the Megane, you've got to be a bit more easier on the throttle. Not the fact that you kind of like feather the throttle in. It's not that it's going to spin. It's just knowing that it will stick.
It's probably I'm having more of a problem with braking. So I'm trying to brake, and as I'm trying to turn in, the car just wants to fucking spin or run wide, basically.
Or change your brake bias more to the front, and also change the brake pressure. You don't need as much pressure in touring cars because obviously they're not as fast.
Okay.
So drop the pressure and put it more front, and it might be a bit better. Right, I need a shit.
Right, I'll wait for you to come back and then we can go.
Oh, I'll have a quick piss then.
Well done, Welshie and Little Leach and Bryn.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That was good fun. I didn't expect that.
Good comeback drive, Bryn. Say you was flying through the air.
Fucking hell, I know.
You lot missed Phil. Flew through the air and then landed on Liam.
Oh, fuck's sake. Yeah. So who was that that went through there? Was that you, Brendan? No Hulty?
Phil, yeah, and then Ukbar towards the end of the
Because I
lap
was
as well.
obviously behind the 3 years, coming down the hill. I just kind of braked earlier because I knew there was something going to happen in this corner, and next thing I know,
Yeah,
you
I
went
braked
straight
early
on a
and
wee bit.
whack.
Yeah, I went left through and tighter to the corner, and then looked in the mirror and seen a car flying through the sky.
Well done, Craig.
Thanks, mate.
You're welcome, mate.
Craig was just too quick for me there. Just too quick.
You needed it.
Hey? Just had to hope you dropped it.
Please, mate.
I did once.
Yeah, no, that's when I caught back you. That's what I was saying to Michael, I was like, oh, he's dropped it, I'm behind him again, I'm behind him. Then I lost fucking like another 6 seconds at the second to...
Yeah, no.
Sorry, the last corner when Sheeran came back on. That's where it ended up going up to like 12 seconds.
Yeah, Rob didn't do too bad.
No, I think just had a. I think he lost his rear wing in a very strange incident.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, but Keegs barely tapped him. That was the thing. Me and Dan were watching it, and it was like,
Gave him 100 on.
yeah, like the smallest of taps, but his rear wing just fell off. It just like dropped off as he was driving.
Yeah.
Who's this? Somebody's speaking Spanish or some shit.
Another podium for the Scottish, says Smokey.
Yeah, I just seen that.
Nope, for the Welsh. Can you not read?
Mass. The thing is, the weird part about it is racist as hell. It will not post the Scottish flag. It puts up a black flag when you try to post the Scottish flag.
On what?
On the chat.
Yeah, it's because I banned the Scottish flag.
What?
No, I aren't really.
Because you can put the Wales one up and you can put the English one up, but you cannot put the Scottish flag up.
Can you not? Is that an actual... Are you being serious?
Yeah, I'm being deadly serious. For the flags, and there's England. There's Wales.
Where's the flags?
There's Scotland.
Well, that was the quickest shit I've ever had. Let's go.
Dump and plump.
Where's the flags? I can't find flags. People... Objects... I can't find flags on the... I'm not on my phone though, so that might be why.
Wonder if it lets you put a GIF up.
By the way, why did my Dan send them Andy an invite to something that's already gone?
I don't know.
I think it's something to do with disco, possibly. I don't know. Maybe.
So Little Leeds leads by 1 point. Little Leeds leads by 2 points. Sorry, I forgot to add his fastest lap.
Where am I sat now?
You're fourth. Welcome back then, ladies and gentlemen, to Simplay Motorsport here for round 4 of the season in Pro-Am. We've got the top 3 in the commentary box for an interview in the interview box, one of them. But first of all, we're going to go through the Constructors and Drivers' Championships. Little Each now leads the way by 2 points from Bryn, with JM Grill 27 behind. Tied for P3 with Welchie, and Welchie knows what that P3 spot means as he missed out on it last season. Stealth Sloth 3 points behind them, though, in 5th, with DJ Phil in 6th place. Rob drops to 7th place, but only 4 points behind. Dean is 8th, 1 point off the back of Shenron with... I said Rob, didn't I? Shenron is 7th. Ukbar is in 9th place, 1 point behind Dean. Lucas Roth up to 10th. 3 behind Ukbar with Holty 11th place, 4 behind Lucas Roth. Smithy drops to P12. We've not been here, and that Bozzy boy gets 7 points. Still no Leon Fernie, no Kraft, no Aidan Bennett scores on the doors. But Super Crash Bros lead the Constructors, 9 points clear of Pick and Mix Motorsport on 75 points. MC Motorsport are only 8 points behind Pick and Mix in 3rd place. Terminal Velocity Racing are 4th, 17 behind MC. Teletubby Motorsport are 16 behind TVR, with My Mate Racing going up to P6, getting quicker My Mate on P7 after that one, and they will hope for better things to come in this race. The top three in the commentary box. We'll start with Bryn. And Bryn, a race that was a tale of two halves for you. I say two halves. The first lap, you're flying through the air. The rest of the race, it was a good fight to come through the pack.
It was. I didn't think I was going to get there, but I did.
Good pace in that Audi tonight. It seemed more consistent laps than quick pace. Is that the main thing for tonight?
Yeah, that's it. Just keep it on track.
How is the car out there? What tyre are you running? What's the car doing?
Yeah, it's set up, so I seem to go right. I've got running on odds. And yeah, it seems to be alright.
What can you do, race 2? You come from mid-pack, it looks like, on a very, very tight grid.
Yeah.
What can you do from there?
I will have to wait and see, just to avoid that start.
Well, we wish you the best of luck.
Awkward.
Indeed it is. We wish you the best luck, buddy. We'll let you get back to it. And well, shit, a man who was not even the bridesmaid last year, as he just couldn't find way on the podium. This year, you finished 2 races, you've got 2 podiums.
Yeah, so a good start to the season, isn't it? Pity about the last, round 2, the last one there, but nothing I could do about that. But yeah, good start. Good
start to the night. You got away well. You and Little Leach kept out of the carnage. You just didn't have enough to catch Little Leach in this one.
I knew at the start I had to get a good start and try and know, obviously with the wall being so close, not to just put the foot down and end up losing the back into the wall. So just gentle that, kept it behind the guys without any issues. So obviously, seen them having a little battle as they were going down the hill. Braked a bit early, hopefully I wasn't getting involved in anything, and yeah, the guys got involved in something. So just a case of staying behind Craig and staying consistent with him. But unfortunately, he's just too quick tonight. Just definitely too quick.
Good pace in the Lamborghini, obviously a choice. You kind of wanted to come away from it in the off-season. You've stuck with it for this season, though. Is it the right choice? It seems to be doing you and Stoffsloff some good at the moment.
I think it is. I think obviously the first couple of seasons we had with this, we had issues, obviously getting setups, changing from the pad to the wheel, not having my wheel set up properly and things like that. So I think it's all starting to come together now. So I'm feeling good with it. So yeah. For the team as well,
Stoffsloff looking like he's improving each race. The team looking in good shape.
Well, I think obviously between the two, we're starting to understand the setups a bit more now. So yeah, so it's making things a bit easier for us. So yeah, he's looking good. So it's just about now keeping up the top there and scoring some consistent points for the team.
What can you do, race 2, buddy, from by the back of the pack? In fact, from last on the grid.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. It looks like that. Yeah, so stay out of trouble and just try and get my way through the pack as much as I can. Some quick drivers, so we'll see what happens.
Well, wish you the best luck, buddy.
Thank you very much.
And finally, we go to your race winner. And Craig, Little Leach, that's how it's done, isn't it?
Well, I was just lucky to avoid lap 1 carnage really and just keep my head down and pull away. I was close to getting involved.
Yeah, you ran a bit deep at the bottom of the hill, turn 1, and that nearly got you brought into a bit of trouble, but you managed to keep it out front.
Yeah, I just kept consistent. Well, I lost it once, but kept consistent and just pulled away.
You've obviously running on your own tonight. No goat to pull you through this one and to get you through to the end. How is that atmosphere without him there?
Not quite so much banter, but peace and quiet.
Race 2, you look like you're starting mid-pack with Bryn. What can you do from the middle of that pack?
Keep it steady the first few laps and then try and pull my way through.
Well, we wish you the best of luck, buddy.
Thank you.
Dan, just noting we've got no Liam out there. He needs to get in before that 2-minute mark.
Yeah, he does need to get in, and I don't think he will because I just don't have this feeling that Liam's not interested in racing this next race after the poor result of race 1. So maybe he won't be choosing to race this next one.
Possibly so.
The other weird thing is no one set a lap time. We've got done 6 minutes already, and finally Holty sets the first lap time of the session.
Indeed he does, and it ain't a great one neither.
It's not the best of laps, but I wouldn't worry too much for him because no offence to DJ Phil and Shinron, they're just not on the pace of Little Leach and Holty and Ukbar and the others. So right now, Holty pretty much got pole position in the bag unless someone pulls in an absolute stellar of a lap.
Yeah, they might need to. He might be lucky that Liam isn't in to do that stellar of a lap time. I have messaged him, and we hope he gets in because he'll He'll be gutted if he can't make it into this race and will lose even more points in this one. But nonetheless, we've still got 10 runners and we are still waiting for more lap times to come in.
We should have 2 here with Stealth Sloth and DJ Phil coming around in the final few. Actually, Stealth Sloth is currently on an out lap. DJ Phil on his flying lap. And he just needs to negotiate the Lamborghini. Possibly use its toe down I can't talk right now. Uses its toe down the road America straight. I think DJ Phil was those wipers on. I think he's taken a note out of Dean's book. Has he? No, he hasn't. I thought they were on for a second. But towards the start-finish line, DJ Phil, what does he do?
2:12.8. So then, Holty needs to improve because his lap time isn't necessarily the one it could be beaten by DJ Phil. DJ Phil showing some great pace in this one already. And as the top 6 can't qualify, we've only got 4 qualifiers out there. Here comes Shenron to the line. What will he do as he gets here?
Outlap.
Outlap. So that's what he'll do. Nothing else at the moment. That Bozzy boy has got about 30 seconds to get in this lobby. Otherwise, he will not be taking part in this second race.
Yeah, I don't think he will be getting into the session at all. So that Bozzy boy will not be racing after a fantastic round at Sakito that ended wrong.
It's not gone well here tonight, has it?
Holty's gone even quicker again. So Holty has probably secured pole position now.
So just Shenron and Stealth Sloth to set a lap time. No Bozzy boy for this second race. The timer is counted down and he will miss it. As I've just been sent a lovely little video in the off break of Gary's daughter Maya watching the stream, loving it on the little playmat on the big screen as well. Bless her. She's enjoying watching the racing. And a big shout out to the Leach family. My teammate, obviously, tomorrow night.
My rival for all these years.
Yeah.
And I gotta, if Gary is watching, I gotta fully enjoy what we did last night at Donington Park.
Oh, brilliant!
Yeah. Was absolutely amazing. Whoa, DJ Phil, 1.4
Hello.
up on his best.
Hello. Now then, Holty. I hope you're on a better lap because it is squeaky bum time. Keke Rosberg won the 1982 F1 Championship with only 1 race win that season. The consistency's there too. So there you go. PM Motorsport, just as handy as Jamie Brazier, who we haven't heard from yet tonight. But where has DJ Phil plucked this pace from?
Where has he? He was 1.4 up in the, Sector 2. He's coming towards the start-finish line now. Is this going to be a quicker lap time from DJ Phil? Is he going to out-qualify Holty?
Oh no! And Holty's gone back to the pits. So DJ Phil has one chance to get a lap in. Stealth Sloth finally posts a lap time. Shenron's coming to the final corner. He's been in the wars. He just needs to post a lap to start P4, bless him. It looks like he's had a bit of a torrid time of it. But Holty in the pits is done. Shenron will be the last man to finish qualifying. Can DJ Phil get anything out of this car on this last lap? Shenron does go 4th, so that puts Welshie dead last.
So Welshie will be starting last. Holty in the pits. He reckons he's got pole position. Shenron, not a good start to this lap. He goes very wide, but DJ Phil, where has he found this pace from? Azugbar giving him his magical setup to get these lap times. He's a 10th down in Sector 1, so he's still within a chance. Possibly lost it all in the final sector. We don't know. So we'll see how this goes.
Indeed. So Stealth Sloth and Shenron still on a lap as well. Can they improve, or is 3rd and 4th the best that them two can get? Is it a battle for them two of who starts where on the second row? With not many qualifiers tonight. That puts Dean and Lucas Roth 5th and 6th on the 3rd row in this race. So that helps them out some massive ends there with not many drivers in this race. So no Liam for this one then, but Holty provisional pole. This man wants to take it away from him. Nah, that's ruined. That's gone. That's just gone. Bless him.
That is gone. Poor DJ Phil. All he had to do was find 2 tenths. If he had actually cleanly made the kink, then he probably would have been on his way to probably at least threaten it. But DJ Phil at least will start 2nd at this rate.
I think second place is well and truly in the bag, depending on what this man and Shenron can do. I don't think Shenron's had the best laps, but we'll have to wait and see. As this man, can he improve any on his run as well? Shenron to the Sector 2 timing screens. Is he up any? He's a second up, so it might put him ahead of Stove Sloth, depending what Stove Sloth is up on this time in a minute. DJ Phil comes to line. We know he's not going to improve on his time, and we wait then for Stove Sloth, who's having a flash of the lights. Does that indicate any improvement? It is an improvement, but not enough for a front row start. What about this man? Was a second up on his time. May have just lost out to Stove Sloth, depending on what he does through this final sector. Very twitchy. Looks like he's carrying a bit of damage on that car.
Yeah, it does a little bit, and I think this circuit really does not aid the pad here. It really do have to have a nice feel of the corners. As Shenron comes to the final line, crosses it, and I don't think he improved much.
I think he improved overall. Yeah, he improved overall, but stays P4. So it's Holty from DJ Phil, Stove Sloth, then Shenron. The qualifiers, the non-qualifiers, Dean Wisocki, Lucas Roth, Lidleach, Bryn, Ukbar and Welshie. Only 10 runners with no Liam here. And we go into race 2. And we see what these boys can do then. So only 10 runners, meaning that Liam, he's still only going to come away from 4 races and be on 7 points. After the way Sakito looked, that is not where he'd have wanted to be in this championship. For Holty, it's a chance to really climb the ladder here and get a race win. For DJ Phil, it's a chance to put pressure on them top 5 and get a race win. For Super Crash Bros and Pick and Mix Motorsport, for My Mate Racing, no drivers in this second race. It is terrible for them, even in terms of getting quicker. My Mate, who's only got Dean out there on track. Teletubby Motorsport, MC Motorsport, Super Crash Bros can be the big winners tonight. Dan, your tip for race 2?
I really don't know. I'm going to leave Holty alone. I don't want to give anyone the curse, though. I'm going to say Little Leach for a race win.
I'm going to go Holty.
Holty. I think he's got the curse.
Hey,
on that. I think
hey,
he does. No. I'll change my mind. I'm going to go this man. Ukbar from the back of the grid.
Oh. He best have a poor start then. He best have a poor start then. But here we go then. We're getting ready for Lights Out. All the drivers just starting to ready up now. We are getting ready to be away. Tomorrow night, join us live. Join Dan Davis and Jamie Brazier live for the Pro Series. I'll be on the track. Join Dan live Sunday night for the Formula 1 round the Circuit of the Americas. Then Tuesday night, Silverstone Classic for the touring cars. And we'll be back next Wednesday for Imola here in the Pro-Am. As we are syncing up and we are getting ready to go, the revs rise. Those who want their lights on are going to turn them on.
Classic American start, it holds.
It does hold. 3 red lights. Green and go. Who gets the best getaway? Look at Dean Wisocki. Has to get out the throttle. Lucas Roth got a good start. He's trying to get past the Audis. It is all away relatively cleanly. A few bumps and pushing and shoving. The Super Crash Bros have superly crashed. And they're both taking each other off. And Shenron and Bryn are both off on the grass before they've even got to turn 1.
There's me thinking that all the action was going to be in the mid-pack. And it's the 2 Super fast pros who have managed to hit each other and they've gone to the back of the pack. Dean is not able to get... Bryn is really struggling to get going in. Shenron's managed to get away with that one, to be fair.
He has. He's got up ahead of Ukbar and Dean Wisocki. And here comes then Holty down the pack. Lucas Roth now putting himself into P3. And that's Lidleach getting past Stove Sloth. And Lidleach looking to attack the back of Lucas Roth. And bit of a tap there maybe. Welshie and Stove Sloth have gone deep. Ukbar also goes deep. Dean trying to find a way past Ukbar then as they come up the hill into the blind braking then. Here is Holty from Phil, from Lidleach, from Lucas Roth early in this race. Shenron now ahead of Stove Sloth as well. So Shenron coming back. I think he was wide in the background, but Lidleach under pressure from Keegs.
Yeah, Lidleach. Well, Lidleach actually gained on Keegs. Keegs is now losing time to Lidleach as Lidleach is on the prowl now for DJ Phil. This is going to be Lidleach's attempt to try and get back to pro as quickly as he possibly can. And how many wins was it in the season?
14.
12? Sorry, 14. So can Lidleach break that this season?
Can he break that? That'll be the question. The way it's going at the minute, you'd argue why not. But if there's any man to stop him, it might be Holty. His self-slough there, a huge wiggle right in front of the nose of Ukbar. And Ukbar now starting to make his way through the pack. Bryn's got to try and come back through from a really bad start from contact with his teammate. But Phil fighting like an absolute demon to keep Little Leach at bay here. Into the last corner, Little Leach is going to have a look, but can't do anything about it. And I tell you what, Phil, a bit deep on the exit there. That's going to have Little Leach to run. And Phil can't do nothing about that one. Little Leach up into P2, it looks like.
Up into P2, and now to try and hunt and catch Holty, but Ginetta is sticking with the Audi.
Yeah,
it's
fair
actually
play.
starting to overtake it. He's got the side draft.
Phil's
so
coming back here.
He's got the side draft, so can DJ Phil outbrake Little Leach? He's going to attempt it, but he misses his braking zone by a mile.
Absolutely failed that. And Phil, maybe that's something that he just needs to learn this season, because he's dropped behind Welsh, he's dropped behind Lucas Roth, he's dropped behind his teammate Ukbar, he's going to drop behind Shenron and Stelfsloth and Dean Wysocki, 2nd to 9th. Not the way he would have wanted turn one to go. A bit ambitious, you could say there, as Little Leach now being hunted down. Teletubby Motorsport on the podium here, and that is Shenron wide, and that is Stelfsloth and Dean back through for position.
Yeah, definitely. All those guys go past Shenron. Shenron seems to be struggling with the car a little bit. Maybe there's damage to his car. But DJ Phil going around the outside. These two getting close at Sakita. They get close again, and DJ Phil drops it, and into the wall he goes.
Into the wall he goes indeed, as Lucas Roth, is he just coming back and having an answer and a response to Little Leach here then? His excuse me, Dean Wysocki and Stelfsloth having a cracking little scrap. Bryn only 10 seconds off the back of these now, but Bryn, we saw in the first race, nice steady as you go, and he'll come through the pack, although not the dramas we saw from race 1 at the minute.
No, everyone's not on their roofs, everyone's still on their wheels, as DJ Phil actually managed to complete the lap without losing rear wings or bumpers, so that's something. Both Ginettas have managed to switch their magnets on and keep their cars to the ground, so that's a good thing for them. Shenron is the man who seems to be struggling the most, with DJ Phil now looking to get a run through the kink. Is he going to do that?
Shenron, you just heard Shenron there getting off the throttle before going onto the curb in the grass there, so really struggling is Shenron. Here comes Phil looking for a move. Shenron to the outside, they nearly make contact. Both of them come off the throttle onto the brakes. Phil's going to struggle to get that one stopped on the grass, and around he goes then. They're both just these both just seem to be struggling. Like you said, I think in race 1 that it doesn't seem to do the pad many favours.
No, it's not really a pad circuit. You need to have that feel, and the corners just seem to benefit more the wheel settings than the pad, in my opinion.
Yeah, completely agree with you there as Welshie. Ukbar then hunting down Welshie, and you look at the last lap times, Ukbar, Holty and Little Leach all in the 2-minute 11s from the get-go, as Welshie just a bit slow through turn 1 there compared to Ukbar. Ukbar, tell you what, only 7 seconds off the lead. If his pace can remain in the 211s, Holty and Little Leach could be struggling in this race. Ukbar, though, getting turn 2 horribly wrong and just allowing Welshie to get off the leash with that one. Little Leach trying to hunt down Holty, who so far hasn't put a foot wrong in this second race.
I think what Holty needs to do this race is, even if he doesn't win the race, he needs to finish on the podium.
Yeah.
He needs to give himself that boost of confidence again, to say, I can do this, I have got the pace, the car's there, I just got to put the time and consistency in.
Yeah, I agree. Completely agree with you there. As Dean, 1.4 up on his best lap, which was a 2:13.8 on the last time round, and trying to get on the back of Ukbar and Welshie here as well. As Bryn now within 10 seconds of DJ Phil, so he can now start to pull that time back down to Phil and his teammate Shenron. All just a bit spread out, but strategy comes into this. Pit window opens at the end of lap 4, and not a lot of drivers with a lot of damage. And Phil versus Rob, part 3. Here we go.
Rob trying to get the car to turn in, but it's not wanting to do it at all. DJ Phil can't find a way past, and is going to have to wait through the carousel. Can he find a way through, get a better run on the car in front? But I think that Little Leach is starting to bring that gap down to Holty. They're within a second. We'll come back to them in a minute. DJ Phil and Shenron really close to one another as they go towards the kink.
See Shenron there, look, huge lift, and Phil has to get on the grass to avoid that one. Shenron just not confident to take it flat, has to have that lift to feel like he's getting the car to turn in. And you said it a couple of corners ago, Shenron's Audi just doesn't look like it wants to turn into the corners at speed here. He's really got to sort of slow it down to get it through the corners. And every time he does, Phil looks to try and make a manoeuvre. This is really helping Bryn out there. What's happened to Welshie? He's dropped to P7. Oh, there he is, look. Whoa!
He's had a big off somewhere, and Little Leach has now caught onto the back of Holty. DJ Phil has made a mistake himself, so that ends that fight. So we go back to the top two. It's Holty versus Little Leach. Little Leach, the ex-pro driver, 2 times Constructors champion with his brother, with a Leachy Legends, or Leach Motorsport before, wasn't it?
Leach Motorsport, yeah. Shenron's in the pits. That's a lap early for Shenron. So depending on the damage, and Welshie. So depending on the damage for these two will either have to pit again, or that damage might not be enough. Or is that why Shenron's struggling? I don't know, because we said his car didn't look like it was turning in, but he's got to have sufficient damage to pit. Is the ruling before the pit window? So yeah, maybe suspension. I don't know if he's got that loaded up on his game. I said I was going to help him with that. Oops. Either way, Shenron may have to prove evidence of that one. And Welshie as well.
What we could tell by that, the car does not look like it's wanting to go. And also, he's in the pits for a long time. Welshie in there a little bit longer. So Shenron losing a bit of time, actually. So we'll have to see. I'll have to have a look at his footage and see, did he have significant damage. But we'll look at this fight between Little Leach and Holty. And Holty just seems to be able to create the gap on the straights. As soon as we get to the corners, Little Leach catches right back on him again.
He does, and Little Leach's Audi looks very, very planted and very, very stable through this part of the track. And this is the part where he seems to really gain the time through these couple of corners here. Look, really gain the time over Holty. The opening sector seems to be where Holty can stretch the legs, but Little Leach doing all the work, sector 2, sector 3, as the gap comes down to just over half a second. Look, but Holty now can use that Mercedes grunt up the hill as well to really start to pull away. Ukbar 4th, Keegs in 5th. They're really in no man's land at the moment, as Dean's trying to get on the back of Ukbar. But Little Leach, the real fight here. Look, he's just losing a tenth or two up this straight compared to Holty.
Yes, a little bit. Keegs in the background. He's now starting to match the leader's pace a little bit. He's just a bit off. Ukbar, though, quickest man of the top 4 at the minute, and he is coming for Lucas Roth. So can Ukbar get himself on the podium? Much easier position for him to do it. We're only a third into this race already, and I think the fight's going to be between these two, and then it's going to be a fight between Lucas Roth and Ukbar, but we'll keep an eye on these guys, because this is your main fight right now.
Depending on how much Lucas Roth keeps Ukbar at bay, Dean could come into that battle, but it does depend on how much Lucas Roth keeps him at bay then. As here is Little Leach. This is now the section where he'll start to, I reckon he'll start to put that gap in. Look, it's just under 7/10 of a second, and this is now where Little Leach will make all that time up over. He's not going to do that if he's on the grass, but this should be where he makes up all that time over Holty. Look, gap just under 6/10 of a second now. Holty's Mercedes great through sector 1, but this middle and final sector, look at Little Leach really closing onto the back of him now. 0.3 of a second, and Holty always been a quick driver, never been in the pro for personal reasons, can't get in. That's why he's had to have seasons out. But when he's been in the Pro-Am and when he's on his best form, has always proved great racing. And look at Little Leach now, within 0.2 of a second of Holty. But is he just going to run out of time this lap to get past him? Because the minute they get to the start straight, he's going to lose a lot of ground to that Mercedes-Benz. Little Leach, huge lift through that right-hander.
Yeah, big lift through that corner. Maybe he didn't want to get that close to him. Didn't want to get onto the back of him so that he would compromise himself. So I've just noticed as well, Ukbar has dropped down.
He has. Behind Dean Wasocki by some 8 seconds as well. So he must have made a mistake on his own there. We'll see the lap times as he crosses the line. Holty then has that half a second gap built back up to Little Leach as they come through the final corner. Pit window is open for these guys to pit now. What will Holty do and Little Leach do? They don't pit, but Holty can stretch that legs and use that Mercedes grunt to pull away once again. Dean up to 4th, needs to now get his head down and keep himself consistent. Now he's got a 7-second gap back to Ukbar.
Yeah, Ukbar, I don't know where he's made the mistake, but he has made a mistake and he's dropped behind the 2 Mercedes boys. The Audi, the only one separating the Mercedes at the minute. I believe it's an all Mercedes at the front.
Yep.
Everything else is Audi, so or Ginetta or Lamborghini. So Little Leach, the only one stopping these Mercedes right now.
Indeed he is, and once again this is the part of the track where Little Leach will struggle until they get down to this corner at the bottom of the hill. They will not be able to really do a lot. Welshie and Shenron's outlaps look a 3:07, a 3:15, so lengthy stop for them, because I think your outlap should be under a 3 minute. As look at Little Leach under the brakes, Dan. Look at how much he gains. Bryn, first man into the pits in the pit window.
He is in, so he gets his pit stop done and out the way. So at the minute, Little Leach seems to have more pace in this section of the track, whereas long straights, the Mercedes is able to pull away. Holty now with the Audi right up behind him.
Little Leach through this middle sector alone really gets on the back of Holty and can really do some damage. But what can he do in terms of this lap? He needs to get past him. You just see that Mercedes look. Holty would have had to get out the throttle there to get it turned back into the corner. Little Leach just couldn't keep it pinned enough to get it up the inside. But he's right on the tail, and the tail is wagging of Holty. 3/4 front. Big lift again from Little Leach there.
He doesn't seem as confident through there. Maybe he's just being safe.
Potentially so, but that is costing him a chance at this final couple of corners. As if he managed to take that corner flat, he might have a look to dive up the inside or go around the outside of Holty at that corner there. He just now loses too much through these corners that Holty seems to be able to take with more speed than Little Leach.
Yeah, Little Leach just seems to have a little bit more grip in the corners. Holty has the grunt, so it's quite an even match in a minute. And I think the thing is, Little Leach can't seem to get the legs on Holty. Look,
yeah.
Holty just pulling away. And this is what's saving Holty. With this layout of the circuit, there's more long straights than there are corners. So Holty just needs to make sure he keeps it clean out the corners, and he's able to just out-drag that Audi.
And this is the thing, Little Leach maybe needs to take that gamble. Maybe later in the race, not just yet, and maybe go flat through that right-hand kink or a bit quicker through that right-hand kink, because look, the minute he loses a bit of time through a corner like that, Holty will just start to disappear down the road. Little Leach has got to gamble it somewhere. Maybe still a bit too early in the race as we're only at half distance. Maybe he can gamble it a little later in the race, but so far he is doing the business in terms of putting him under pressure. Ukbar coming back at Dean, and coming back at Dean quite rapid. Dean and Lucas Roth having a quiet race as he stoves off down in 6th. Bryn, the only man to pit within the pit window. He's came out ahead of Shenron and Welshie and was behind.
Little Leach is strong. Look at how Little Leach could just stick to the back of that Mercedes. He's so close. He's in the back of that car.
That's the problem. And that's the problem with this track. It's too narrow that he can't seem to get either way. Holty parks the car in the right place, and Little Leach can't get past. Look, and Holty not fully coming across, but just giving enough room for where Little Leach can't dive up the inside, and Little Leach having to sit behind and wait once again. Is this his best chance? We know the Mercedes drifts wider, although Holty looks like he's nailed that part of the corner better this time around. Little Leach gets the far better exit. Holty comes across, can't squeeze Little Leach. Oh, he's backed out of it. Little Leach does not have the confidence through the right-hand kink to send one up the inside of Holty then. And when you just think Little Leach can get that manoeuvre, he didn't. He got the momentum, but didn't have the cojones.
Nah, I think Little Leach is thinking on his head here. He's thinking of a championship. He knows this is the caliber of a pro driver here. Little Leach just knows patience. He has the better speed. He has the grip. If he needs to, I say better grip. He had a wiggle. He just knows where to park the car. Welshie and Shenron are close together. They've had an incident once again. So
no, Welshie's past Shenron there, I think it is.
Oh, so Welshie has a... Yeah, that makes sense. Because Welshie was in the
Gee whiz, look at Dean's last lap time. 2:12. Dean, you know, he's not as quick as the leaders. It's quicker than Lucas Roth. So Dean pumping in some good laps here, but Ukbar has got past Dean as well. So has Dean made a mistake this last? Because they've actually dropped further back from Lucas Roth.
Possibly so. Ukbar was actually behind Dean, if I remember right.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
So Ukbar has got ahead of Dean. Let's see what Dean's lap time is this time. Ukbar's into the pits on lap 7. Dean crosses the line.
Yeah, big mistake.
So yeah, big mistake somewhere.
We just applaud his 2-minute 12 lap, and then a 2:24, and that is Dean's problem.
Yeah, it's just the inconsistency. As Lucas Roth is doing 2:14s, 2:13s. He's not as quick as the leaders, but he's consistent. He's there. Bryn does the same. Little Leach has a run on the exit there, and just got caught out a little bit. I don't think Holty was expecting him to make that good a run there.
No, I don't think he was neither, and that's compromised Little Leach a little bit. But this, his favourite part of the track, where he will gain so much time. And again, he's near enough jumping in the boot. Little Leach is all over the track here, trying to get past. Ukbar out the pits, good stop for him. He's out well before Bryn can get round. Little Leach here needs to be careful though, Dan, because a little wiggle or two out in the wrong direction, touches a curb, that could spell disaster for Little Leach. The question I'd ask you, Dan, undercut?
This is what I was just sitting here thinking. Now the cars have started pitting. Now the pack is stringing out a bit. Little Leach has a gap that he could possibly drop into between Stelsloff and Dean, possibly. So it's not working. The thing is about being the attacker, and we've got traffic as well coming up. Being the attacker, the defender will start learning where you're.
Oh, he's having a...
Little Leach has a look.
Oh, I thought he was going to send one up the inside there. Holty does mighty well to cover that one off, and they both do well to not make contact. Now you've seen the traffic, Dan, do you pit?
This was me, both of them. I would pit. Holty or Little Leach. You've got that gap behind, and you just know the likes of Shenron and Welshie don't necessarily have to get out of the way, but they choose to stay out. If I was Little Leach, I would have gambled for an undercut.
I'd have gambled for an undercut. If I was Holty, I'd have possibly gambled for an undercut as well in terms of undercutting Little Leach and getting out still ahead of him. Little Leach, though, and Holty continue on their merry way. Does Keegs then decide to come in the pits with Ukbar pitting now, and Ukbar on great pace? How Little Leach doesn't run into the back of Holty there, I don't know. Little Leach, Lucas Roth, stays out on the track. Ukbar way back. Does Dean maybe think of pitting? Because Dean could come out around that Ukbar gap again.
Yeah, definitely so. As
wow, brilliant, the 212s.
Stelsloff and DJ Phil really close to one another. Bryn on his own, just focusing on his laps. All these guys still yet to pit, and Bryn is slowly making his way around the track. As,
Stealth in.
Still trying to keep Stealth is in, so he's now the next guy coming. DJ Phil released and on his way. And Ukbar.
Little Leach has passed Holty. Little Leach has passed Holty by some margin here. Then
has that got something to
Rob's
do with
got no
the
rear
markers?
wing. Shenron has no rear wing, so what has happened there?
It looks like Holty hasn't got damage to his car. Has Little Leach got damage to it? No. So.
Oh, I think Holty's caught Shenron. Shenron's spinning through the corner, I think, and I think Holty's got caught out by that, Dan. Well, what this does mean is Shenron will no longer be under investigation for not pitting because he's got to pit for his rear wing.
Definitely so. He'll be in now.
But, interesting to see here. Stealth Sloth just exiting the pits. Is that Bryn coming up the pit lane at the start line? I think it is. And I think Stealth Sloth might just be out in front of Bryn.
Yeah, so Stealth Sloth is ahead of Bryn, but
yeah,
how fast is Bryn? He's coming up with fresh pace tyres. The Stealth Sloth has dropped it. Stealth Sloth just a little bit of mistake there, so unlucky there for Michael.
So then, DJ Phil will need to get his foot down because that means that Phil and Stealth Sloth are pretty close on track. Bryn could jump DJ Phil in the pits here, depending on Bryn's pace. Dean also might want to think of pitting, as well as Lucas Roth. Does now Little Leach choose to pit, now that he's got a clear track in front of him? 100%, yes. You're right, he does.
And then surely Holty will be coming in as well. Lucas Roth, with a clean car, he might as well just carry on. He's had an adventure somewhere. So he's on a 220, so Holty I probably think is going to come into the pits also.
Yeah.
He possibly got damage from Shenron, and he is into the pits.
It'd be interesting to see what happened there, Dan, as well, between Holty and Shenron.
It would be interesting. Stealth Sloth didn't quite get dropped by Bryn. Bryn's managing to... Stealth Sloth managing just to stick with him in a minute. But Bryn running his own business and making sure his lap times are where they should be.
Yeah, Lucas Roth then leads this race, and Dean is going to be P2 in this race for the moment, but obviously they will be net. Little Leach is your net leader. Shenron into the pits, which means his pit stop will no longer be under investigation there, as well as he is now pitted again, so that will just leave Welshie under investigation, and Phil looks like he's coming into the pits here as well.
Ukbar's pitted, hasn't he?
Yep.
There's Holty. Ukbar's coming up the hill.
Ukbar is going to jump Holty. So for Holty then, will Holty be jumped by Dean Wysocki and Lucas Roth in the pits? If Ukbar's jumped him, will Holty be jumped by Dean Wysocki and Lucas Roth? DJ Phil in the pits. Stove Sloth has had an adventure somewhere. Now, can Bryn get past DJ Phil? We said Bryn might be close to jumping DJ Phil because he was close to jumping Stove Sloth. Bryn's coming through the final corner. Stove Sloth, Bryn is only just away. I tell you what, Holty left any longer and Bryn could have jumped Holty here.
Yeah, he could have, but Holty not having the best race here, and at the looks of things, Bryn is going to jump DJ Phil.
Yep, going to jump DJ Phil. So Bryn, another mistake lap, another incident, turn one, lap one, and he's coming back through the pack in another epic drive for Bryn here. We're on to lap 10 of 15. Gents, ladies and gents in the chat, get your vote in for driver of the day. Me and Dan will do ours at the end of the night. But Lucas Roth leads from Dean. They are the only two who are yet to pit. Welshie, obviously, if he pits again, will no longer be under investigation, but he is pending, so to speak. I've got to get used to saying this word, by the way, Dana Fanta.
What, pending or so to speak?
Pending.
Pending.
The final result next week is not the final result. So I've got to get used to not saying the final classification. I've got to say the pending classification or something. Because you have to wait for hours after for race control to sort the penalties out. But we're not on about Switzerland. We're on about this one. As Lucas Roth comes in. I got told, by the way, earlier, while there's a bit of a lull in the race, I wasn't allowed to commentate next Wednesday.
Why is that?
You can't commentate because it's the night before you fly. I says I can commentate and I will commentate. Put that one to bed. Who do you think? Put that one to bed very quickly, Daniel. Yeah. Said we'll go out in the day. And by the way, to all those who are watching, thank you all. Without you guys, Gary in particular, Dan, Kelly, everybody, the admin team. Next week's my first professional adventure into professional commentary. Without you guys watching, making sim play possible, I would not have this opportunity to commentate professionally. You bet your bottom dollar I'll be posting on the Discord the link to the channel that I'm commentating on. And I hope you guys can tune in and give me your support over there next weekend. Lucas Roth in and out, and he's going to jump Holty by some margin because that looks a decent stop from Lucas Roth.
Yeah, but more importantly, Ukbar has jumped a lot. Ukbar is in a very good position here. He's in P2. This is what Ukbar needs for this season. He needs a good start to the season.
Yeah.
To avoid the incidents, and he's managed to keep out of them for race 2, and this is what he's rewarded with.
Exactly right, and Dean in a position to maybe get a top 4 when Little Leach Ukbar and Lucas Roth go past. And you're right. In fact, look at Holty. Bryn's now past him. How has he lost it there?
I don't know. There is a lapped car ahead of Shenron, so I don't know if that has something to do with it. He's got damage to the front as well. I'm not sure exactly what's happened there.
I don't know if Shenron was near him because Bryn... Who was in front of Holty? Nobody, was they? Ukbar was in front of Holty. Where's Ukbar? Ukbar's through Sector 1. Not too sure what's happened there with Holty then.
Shenron was the closest.
Shenron was the closest, yeah. But he doesn't look like he's got any damage, so I'm not sure what's happened there. Either way, he's got his wipers on again. He loves it, this lad, doesn't he? 2.12 from Dean, but a 2.12 and he needs to pit, and he's probably going to come out P4 now that Holty's had his spin. Bryn and Dean lapping in the 2.12s again. Currently, the second and third quickest driver on track because Ukbar is flying. What a shame Ukbar had a mistake early on because he could possibly be challenging Little Leach for this race win. Dean, though, end of lap 11, look, is choosing to come into the pits. Little Leach will come flying past. The question is where does Dean come out? How good a stop can Dean have? Ukbar's past Lucas Roth.
Ukbar was always ahead of Lucas
He was ahead of Lucas Roth, apologies.
You best get that sorted before you get
Yeah, best get that one sorted, yeah. That was a bit slow out of there. He had a bit of a wiggle coming through there. Right, Dean's car, I believe, is away. So a good stop. No, it's not. Oh, he's missed his box.
Just the simplest of things are getting into the box, and it's just gone wrong there. A possible opportunity to try and get a good pit stop.
He's away. Oh, what a shame. What a shame. But he'll come out P4 because Bryn's too far back. Dean's almost at the line here to get going. So Bryn will not catch him. Little Leach, though, your race leader by some margin. Look, back in the 2.11s again. And Ukbar, a P2. This will be great to have Ukbar back on the podium because we don't. This is a man who should be on the podium more regular than what he is.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's just that he always ends up in the bad luck. And when I first come across Ukbar in LMP2s on Motive Racing, he always helped me out. He actually got me a sheet to help me learn with setups. And this man really. I have to credit this man because he was the man who probably shaped me the driver I am today. He aided me in the LMP2s, made me fall in love with those cars, and he's never had the luck. Even when I raced in LMP2, he never had the race. Then it went to Formula Renaults, never the luck. And it was always the same. Whatever championship he ended up in, it was just bad luck. And he's just recently found this love with the Ginetta. He normally runs the Mercedes AMG. If you remember rightly, Matt, do you remember BT Targa using the white, red, and brown kind of look? Yeah. That was the same livery that Ukbar used to use. But ever since then, he's fallen in love with this Ginetta. And like I said, when he is there, when he's dialed in, he's easily one of the quickest guys in Pro-Am.
Oh, he's fantastic. And there was a race, I think it was Long Beach last season. Me and Emplava had checked out. He had a torrid time, must have pitted twice very early on. And I remember Ukbar just coming through the pack and was lapping the same as me and Emplava at times. And you just knew that Ukbar, if he didn't get involved in incidents, he had bad luck himself in his own misfortune on the drive as that is Shenron getting out the way. Is it? Yeah, I think it is. And Phil decides, oh, that looks fun out there. I'm going to come and join you and build a sandcastle. But Ukbar does either create a lot of his own luck or get involved in a lot of bad luck. And look at, Little Leach. Hello, talk about stonking lap pace. That is ridiculous on his own.
Yeah, that's where he should be, really, arguably. A pro pace, that's where he should be lapping. I think the pros, what we're looking at for fastest lap at the pros is probably like a 207, 208. And race pace is probably 209s, 210s. Matt laughs because I've seen his lap times. And
your race pace is more accurate. Oh!
There is a chink in his armour here.
He's not a robot. He's not a machine. That, though, gives Ukbar a chance. And if Little Leach's tyres are just starting to go, his Ukbar may be in for a shout here. Little Leach needs to drill them mistakes out. It is a lot warmer. I tell you, someone who needs to drill mistakes out is Dean. Sorry, not Dean. No, he's about the same gap. Sorry, the gap's just come down, hasn't it? Because Little Leach's out of spin. 7 seconds. If Dean can keep consistent here, Dean could be on for maybe catching Lucas Roth at the end of this race. But he's got to keep consistent, and Lucas Roth needs to not make mistakes. We could be having Keegs on the podium. That's been a while as well since we've had that.
Yeah, it'd be nice to hear Keegs in the chat once again. Both Scotsmen, father and son, both in the podium at some point in the same night would be awesome. Keegs, he's really been struggling with the Mercedes, but tonight he seems actually fairly decent in this car.
It looks like he's been the best Mercedes driver out there. Liam, Dean and Holty not had the best of nights. This man, a fourth and a third, looks like he's been by far the best Mercedes driver. Got to give it to Dean. Poor week last week, but he seems to have bounced back this week. A fourth and a sixth, that's not bad results considering. You know, he seems to have bounced back. Got to give it to him tonight. He's had a better night.
Do you know what Dean needs to find? He needs to find the love of just having consistent lap times.
Well,
one of the things that I love doing in a practice session or in a qualifying session or whatever it is I want to do at least 5 or 6 laps on the bounce in half a second.
Yeah.
That is when you know you've got the car in the right place. You have that consistency.
He didn't team with Bryn. He then was meant to team with Liam. That didn't materialise. Why didn't he stay in that BMW? Because Dean was fantastic in that BMW. Hopefully he can learn the Mercedes like he learned the BMW last season, but we shall wait and see. Not long left in this race now. We're on lap 14 of 15. Guys, girls, get your comments in the chat for your vote of driver of the day, as Holty is 6 seconds behind Bryn, and any more mistakes for Holty, and DJ Phil could be pouncing on the back of him as well, as that's only 3 seconds. Welshie down in 9th hasn't came through the pack like we may have expected. Stelsloff again, solid night. Not really, he's made his own mistakes tonight, but again, he can come away from this one and be very, very happy with his performance.
Well, at the minute, he's out racing his own teammate who took a podium. Yes, well, she's had a bit of bad luck in this race, and I think this is the thing about Pro-Am. You'll probably agree with me, Matt, and so will most of the other Pro-Am boys. It's all about luck on the first couple of laps. If you
reverse grid especially. 100% with reverse grid, yeah.
if you've managed to keep your nose clean, I sadly haven't had the luxury of racing in the Pro-Ams. I was just chucked in straight into Pro, thanks to Matt. But actually, no, I take that back. Thanks to Andy. I blame Andy.
Yeah.
But I've never had the luxury of racing in Pro-Am. I don't know what the chaoticness of it is like, but I know in Pro, it's even harder to get through the pack. But here, it's not hard necessarily, it's just getting away without having any damage.
That's the biggest thing, is I found last week in Pro that when the drivers made a mistake, they wasn't in the way. Do you know what I mean? At the lap one, I went from 16th to 5th by the end of lap one. 11 places gained. I only actually passed 2 drivers. The rest made their own mistakes, but they make their mistakes and are out the way. With Pro-Am, they seem to make the mistakes in front of you. And that's the biggest difference I've noticed from both so far. All right, I've only done one race in the Pro from the back of the pack, but that's the difference I've noticed.
Yeah,
and
definitely so.
And I said it a lot last season, because with Kelly in the interview box with me, if you can stay out of trouble, race 2 Pro-Am, you'll do fine. That's the biggest thing, race 2 Pro-Am. If you stay out of trouble, you'll be fine. If you get in that trouble, like Bryn has tonight, got a good start but got caught out with his teammate, yeah, all right, he's come back for 5th, but on a full grid, it's a lot harder.
PN in the chat saying Little Leach for driver of the day. I have to agree with you, man. Again, not racing in Pro-Am, you just don't know what that challenge is going to be. I know for a fact that the touring cars, I race half of the drivers in the touring cars, and it kind of feels like that as well. Race 1, you qualify well, you get near to the front of the grid. Even with 100 litres, you feel like you're at your potential, probably higher than others. As soon as you're not allowed to qualify and you're in the pack, you saw yourself last night. Race 1, I was fighting for possibly a 2nd or a 3rd place. Race 2, I was fighting for 10th at times.
Yeah,
it's that difficult.
Indeed it is. Peaceful Stepdad also saying Little Leach for driver of the day. And Andy saying, how is it my fault you got thrusted in at the deep end, Dan?
That's because he hyped me up so much.
He's dropped you right in it there, Andy.
I don't care. I have to blame him, but praise him at the same time.
I was going to say at the same time, if Dan had been in Pro-Am and hadn't got promoted, he possibly wouldn't be the 3-time champ that he is today, 3-time Pro champ that he is today.
Continue, because Andy knows for a sure thing that I used to hate GT3s in motive racing. I never signed up for GT3s, not even in ACC, not even in Project Cars. I hated them with a passion. All I did was Clio's, touring cars.
Oh! He's thankful this is the last lap, and he's thankful he's at the last corner.
Little Leach.
You could not script this. I tell you what, though. That's not getting going very quickly, is it? That is all over the place. Could we be on for the line? I think Little Leach is just going to scrape this race win. It's going to be 3 in a row for this man then this season. So far, he looks like the championship leader. He's going to start to walk away with this. Little Leach comes to the line with a race win, but he made it very hard for himself from this man Ukbar in 2nd place. What a drive for him tonight. We'll get more votes in driver of the day, and then me and Dan will give the commentators one. Lucas Roth on the podium, first time in a while. It'll be great to hear from Keegs. 7 seconds ahead of Dean. Looks like he's maintained his gap to Dean Wysocki, but Lucas Roth nonetheless can be very, very pleased with that P3. Just a little flash of the lights as he crosses the line. Dean Wysocki then looks like he's going to come home for a good P4 and solid points for Dean tonight. Got 4th place race 2 last week, a 4th place this tonight as well. Bryn then, first time off the podium in 4 races, but I tell you what, the lowest finish of P5 isn't the worst way to go. And look at this, Dan. Holty must have made some more problems because he's got DJ Phil right on the back of him. Needs to get the final corner right.
Oh, we saw that the Ginetta was dragging as well. I don't think it's enough though. I think Holty's just got it. Yeah,
Holty going to come across the line for P6. DJ Phil for P7. Very, very close at the end. It's going to be an 8th place for Stelfsoff, who has outdone his teammate. That's Shenron a lap down behind, who will finish P10. But Stelfsoff will finish ahead of Welshie here then. And Shenron probably will be glad to see the back of this Road America circuit. He struggled tonight. As here comes Stelfsoff. Good flash of the lights for him as well. Shenron to the line, crosses it for P10, and Welshie then coming home to finish P9. I don't think we saw a driver in the 2-minute 10s bar Little Leach.
I don't think we did. Maybe.
But we'll just wait and see.
maybe Ukbar got close, but Andy says no offence to anyone, but would have been unfair for others if I was in Pro-Am. That was almost reminiscent of throwaway at Monza short in the Clios. No, it was not.
Little Leachland does take the fastest lap of the race, and the championship standings tonight look like this. After I saw them out, Ukbar's in the chat. We just await for Keegs and Little Leach to get in as well. As I'm just sorting the drivers' tables out. And obviously this will be a preliminary result of the drivers' standings before stewards' reviews. See?
Yeah, to be honest, let me just say also to Andy, don't go on to me about Clios, because I vaguely remember someone telling me about you trying to do a famous thing of trying to reverse over the line, and it failed massively. If I remember off the top of my head. So yeah, we won't ever talk about Clios again.
I remember the Clios. I commentated on that race, Daniel. Little Leach, your one where you could have won. Yeah.
Just like Bruno, we don't talk about it.
Little Leach leads the way, 17 points clear of Bryn, who them two are well in front of Welshie. Welshie 46 points behind in P3. Ukbar up to 4th, though tied with Welshie for P3. Stealth Sloth drops to 5th place with DJ Phil up into 6th. Dean Wasocki gets 7th place. James Grill drops to 8th with Lucas Rock up into 9th. Shenron down to 10th with Holty up in P11. Smithy down into 12th place with that Buzzy Boy 13th. Leon Fernie, Kraft and Aidan Bennett yet to get off the mark. Super Crash Bros are tied with Pick and Mix Motorsport after tonight. MC Motorsport then on 19 points behind. Terminal Velocity Racing in the Ginetta are 22 off the championship lead. Teletubby Motorsport are on 60 points. My Mate Racing are on 49 with Getting Quicker My Mate on 36. And I don't know if that is Dean on 36. Yep. 35 plus 7, that's not 49. Not quite sure what's happened. Yeah, no. Well, I mean, I won't be doing the points. That's all them to do the points. I'm not sure why My Mate Racing have got more points. I think I've got the wrong drop score, so I will sort that one out for when the tables get posted. But either way, we've not yet got Lucas Roth in here, I don't believe.
I need to disconnect Keys' internet, so
right.
I don't think Keys is coming in.
Right, so we might not get Keys in, but we've got Ukbar in, and Ukbar... What a job for you tonight. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. That was I like Road America. It's one of my favorite tracks. So I was happy. Too bad in race 1. I hit the curbs. I oversteered and crashed. That was too bad. And second race, that very long right-hander, the never-ending turn. I had a little bit too much speed. Hit with the rear wheel, the sand or the gravel, and I lost it. So I had to start all over again.
Very quick pace from yourself tonight, really consistent in the 211s, lapping really well. Like you say, bar them mistakes, you probably could have come away with a couple of better results, but good points for yourself, puts you right up there in the championship.
Yeah, I hope I'm at least a podium at the end of the championship. I hope so, and if all goes well, I think I'm able to do that.
Indeed. So we go to Imola next week. What's your thoughts of Imola? Can you get anything out of that one?
I'm not always have the same level of consistency at Imola. So I'm sometimes it's going well. Sometimes I'm struggling. So we'll see what happens.
Well, we'll wait and see, buddy. You're going to get my vote for Driver of the Day. I'm not quite sure about Dan, but you're going to get my vote for Driver of the Day because I think it was brilliant. It looks like Little Leach gets Driver of the Day in the chat. But well done for tonight, buddy, and we can't wait to see you next week.
Yeah, thanks.
And we've got Little Leach in as well, and Craig, back-to-back wins, London Bus, as some might call it, if you're Kieran Argent. But a good night for yourself, all in all. Scary moment at the very last corner.
Yeah, I did pick up some damage. I was crawling back to the line. I was a bit worried when I saw Akbar 4 seconds behind.
I reckon Smithy was going to visit Peppa Pig again there to maybe help him through that one tonight, because that might have been a bit nervous if he'd have come away second place.
That would have been a bit scary, yeah.
Good pace though from the Audi tonight. 2 minute 10 fastest lap. 2 fastest laps, 2 wins. You can't really ask for more than that, can you?
I can't grumble about tonight, to be fair. It's better than last week.
Imola next week. What can you do around there?
I quite like it. So we'll see.
Well, there we go then. Dan, final thoughts from yourself and your driver of the day.
Wow, Road America for race 1 was an absolute carnage race. Had Janetta's flying left, right and centre and into space. Little Leach back to his pro ways of absolutely dominating Pro-Am. Can he eventually get himself back into the Pro? That's the question. My more question is, can Little Leach actually break the record and beat Fury's 14 wins in a season? I better hope he does, because all the times that we've been going wheel to wheel in GT5s, then if he doesn't do it, then I'll be shocked. It's been an epic round, I think, Road America. It did produce some good racing, others not so great. But for me, my driver of the day, I'm going to give it to Keegs, Lucas Roth. I think he's had a solid round. He's kept his nose clean. He's got back up into a rhythm, got himself a podium and a 4th place as well. So I'm going to give it to Lucas Roth for this one.
So Lucas Roth for Dan, Little Each in the chat, and I'm going to give mine to Ukbar tonight. That's all we've got time for, though, tonight. Join Dan Davis and Jamie Brazier in the commentary box for Road America tomorrow, where the Pro Boys, myself, can take the challenge on. And if anything tonight to go by, it could be carnage. Sunday night, Dan Davis back in the box once again as we stay in America for the Circuit of the Americas. I'm sure Green Pies is re-watching the motive footage and seeing where Gary braked, or didn't brake for that matter, going into turn 1.
Didn't he touch a clutch pedal?
Probably it's a clutch pedal. He definitely hit Green Pies and Just Jose. But we'll see what happens Sunday night. We'll be back in the touring cars for Silverstone Classic next Tuesday night with me and Jamie Brazier. We'll be back in the commentary box. And Dan will be back with these boys. Can Little Each keep up his dominance? Can Bring it back on the podium? Can Ukbar maybe get himself on that top step and cause some more frustration for the other boys? We'll tune into that one next Wednesday night. But from me, Dan Davis, and the rest of the Simplay Motorsport lads, take care. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
What do you want me to say?
No, just the way you said it. Good night.
See you later, fuckers.
I just said that. Little Each brought up fucking white powder. Jeez, terrible.
That's more like it, Little Each. That's what you're meant to be fucking doing.
Craig, are you busy next Thursday night?
No.
Do you fancy driving a Mercedes? I'll send you my PlayStation details.
If you want me to, mate.
But you can't do You can't do interviews because I'm really bad. I've lost my voice, so you can't do an interview.
Right, okay. Right, you know I've just clicked
Just announce it on stream too that you're away, mate. You take your PlayStation.
I land just as practice. I should get to the hotel just as practice one finishes.
I was going to say, just as you fucking land, practice finishes.
The temptation to actually take the PlayStation, maybe race on pad just to score points.
For fuck's sake. I mean, it's not a bad shout, but how good's the internet's going to be? And secondly, if you do it, just remember Zolder for me when I came out of my operation.
It didn't go bad for you though, did it?
It didn't go bad, no. Yeah, that's because I just literally found the most stable setup fucking possible for the Porsche, and on a pad, it's not too bad. If I'd driven anything else, it might have been fucking horrific. And it was dry, if I remember, so I got lucky.
Brilliant.
And it's Imola.
Well done, Craig. Either way, you've what have you got this season? You've doubled your race tally already this season.
Brilliant.
14 wins. Can you beat it?
How many races are there in season?
20.
24.
There's 20 races left.
20, yeah, I hope so.
There's going to be tracks where that Audi's
You see, I said that last season, Craig.
Arguably, he's got a little bit easier group.
Oh, he's got a massive easier group. Unless Holty and Keegs can get it right.
Worry about Keegs, Holty and Ukbar, really, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was hoping he wasn't going to say fucking that Buzzy boy, because round 1 he was great, round 2 he was fucking wank.
He texts. So I've just got a message because I've just dropped my stream, and he messaged me on PlayStation because on PS5 they don't come through straight away.
Yeah.
He went to practice Imola because he was that dreadful. He didn't want to race 2.
I fucking knew he wouldn't.
What a
I told you.